It is always Big Sales time. Not your time, my time. Good afternoon and welcome aboard. One of the greatest times of the year because we are now in football full mode. Tomorrow is the Hall of Fame game. We were just talking, Xander and I. I don't give a shit if it's horrible football. I don't care if it's guys who will be working at Philadelphia X by next week. I could care less. Any football is good football. And you'll have Lions and Chargers tomorrow from Canton, Ohio. Listen how that sounds, from Canton, Ohio, the home of the Hall of Fame. And then next week, we will have Eagles and Bengals, and really the exhibition season kicks off. And will we see a lot of the younger Eagle players this time around? Because, again, you have a lot of inexperienced football players this time. You've got legitimate battles going on. I mean, today's a walkthrough. You're not really going to get anything out of that. But again, every single thing you do in training camp is going to be evaluated. Everything. I'm not saying so much walkthroughs, but everything will be evaluated. Oh, by the way, that's great. Eric Allen will be going and officially being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Great get there. We will try to get Eric Allen on and ask him what his experience has been. He's been on numerous times already on the program. And by the way, you know where I saw Eric Allen? My daughter was playing high school rugby over at Rancho Bernardo, right? All of a sudden, here comes Eric Allen right towards me. I couldn't believe it. There was Eric Allen, and we built up the relationship, obviously, because he played with Jerome. And, so he's been on the program numerous times, so we will talk with Eric Allen, the legend, and going into the Hall of Fame, legendary Eagle. So do me a favor, please hit the like button. Super Chats go to the top. I said this, and I'll say it again here, as it's been 5 days now. Okay, 5 days of practice and really the first week of camp. Focus and concerns are really three different areas, right? Safety, corner, those are the concerns, and edge depth, correct? Coming away from the first week, the focus on those three areas of the team. Would there be any other team or part of the team that you would be concerned about? Let me think. I think the wide receiver room actually is getting better. Maybe the depth at tight end. The depth at linebacker, when you don't have a seat for Nakobe Dean, and when you get into the regular season and you don't have a seat for the guy and you don't know what his future, get this, on July 30th, you don't know what Nakobe Dean's future is. That's a pretty good room, right? That's a pretty good room. Hey, what's the future of Nakobe Dean? I don't know. Right? So that room's pretty good. The safety room is brutal. The corner depth, I don't know. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. The offensive line depth, man, there's a ton of players. So you know what I was going to do? I was going to save this. And Xander at 3:30, Battle Royale at 4:30 with Mark Holmes and also Philly 500. I was going to do this later on in the program, and I'll do it again with Xander. But let me ask you this. I'm going to go off of the 2024. Let me pull this up here. I was going to do this a little bit later on, but let me do it right now here. Let's go over here, and let me pull up the depth chart I got this morning of the Eagles. So let me pull up the depth chart. All right. So let's go over this small exercise here. And I'm going to go off of what they did in 2024. Now, again, it's a completely different looking football team this year, right? Okay. How many quarterbacks are they going to keep? A year ago, they kept 3. Who will be those 3 guys? Well, Hurts, McKee, and Kyle McCord. Does that sound right? They're going to keep three. They're going to keep three quarterbacks. Those would be your three quarterbacks. Do you guys agree? Okay? They're not going to keep Dorian Thompson Robinson. They're not. They may put him on the practice squad. But do we not agree the three quarterbacks that will be in the room will be Jalen Hurts, Tanner McKee, and the kid they just drafted from Cuse, right? A year ago in 24, they kept three. All right. Running back. Let's see how many they kept a year ago. They kept three running backs. Here's the three running backs, right? Barkley, Shipley, and Dillon. Correct? Those will be the three backs they keep. 24, they kept three. I doubt they keep four, right? Those three. So again, they're going to probably model what they did in 2024. So they'll keep three running backs. Your three backs will be Barkley, Shipley, and Dillon. So here's where we start getting interesting. Wide receivers, 5. I'll ask this. So look, Devontae, AJ, slam dunks, obviously. Dotson, 2. So there's 2 spots. Who wins the next 2 spots on the team? From what I heard from Fangio, he likes the kid, Mac McWilliams. He might be the slot guy or corner 2. Absolutely. By the way, Kyle, we've been kind of touting him throughout the entire training camp. Okay, so in 2024, they kept 5 wideouts. Okay, they kept 5 wideouts. Who gets the remaining 2 jobs? Devontae, AJ, and Dotson will be the 3 dudes, right? Those are your 3 starters. Is it Terrence Marshall, Johnny Wilson, and Aya Smith? Who wins the final 2 jobs? Who wins the final 2? You know, the Eagles don't like to cut players that they draft. And boy, Terrence Marshall has absolutely, I'm going to say this. I think they're going to keep Wilson. And I think they're going to keep Terrence Marshall. That makes sense? And Aya Smith and the rest of those guys will be cut. Does that make sense? Marshall and Smith. No. Marshall and Wilson. It's going to get this. Who do you want? Anaya Smith or do you want Johnny Wilson? Who makes the team between those 2 guys? Boy, this is a tough call here. I think Terrence Marshall's making that team. Neither? I'm going to say Wilson makes your 5 wideouts will be Devontae, AJ, Dotson, Wilson, and Terrence Marshall. I think it's up for debate. McCord will be on the practice squad. You're not going to put a rookie on the practice squad. You're not going to let that guy walk into a potential team picking him up. No way. No way are they going to. JD3, I disagree with that. I think they'll put him on the roster. He'll be the emergency QB. We'll see, though. Again, I think they're going to put him, and maybe the Robinson kid gets put on the practice squad. So let's go to tight ends. Last year, they kept 2. Who makes the team? Goddard, Calcaterra, Harrison Barton? Is it the same 2? Goddard and Calcaterra. They keep 2 tight ends or do they add a tight end? Do they go 3 tight ends this year? Because I want you to wait a minute now. Before you say 2, aren't they going to run the ball more? Aren't you going to want to have a guy who's more dominant in the run game? Or is it because the fullback's going to be implemented? That's something to think about too. So the 2 or 3, I think that's a debate on how many tight ends they're going to keep. So that'll be a debate at tight end. How many tight ends do they keep this coming year? All right, let's look at offensive line. This is going to be a very interesting conversation. Last year, they kept 9 O-linemen. 9. Okay, that would mean this. So let's do this here. 9 offensive linemen they kept last year in 24. So here's who they got. Malata, Landon, Juergens, Steen, and Johnson. There's 5 right there. There's 4 spots left. I'm going to say Miles Hinton, Matt Pryor. That's 7. There's 2 more spots. Trevor Keegan. Drew Kendall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's your 9. That means the rest of those guys are cut or put on the practice squad. You know, they could keep 10. This is kind of their mantra here in what they do. So last year they kept 9. So, I mean, oh, by the way, that also means that Kenyon Green's whacked. The guy they traded for, who was the former first-round pick, he'll be cut, in my opinion. That guy will be cut. Okay? So, he's gone. Boy, that C.J. Gardner-Johnson deal looks worse every day. Not only did you lose the best safety you had on the team, but the guy who also was part of the trade, he's going to get cut. That deal does not look that good now. So the player you traded with is gone, and the best safety, and you got issues right now at safety. The Gardner-Johnson deal and the Gardner-Johnson move right now, in my opinion, on July 30th, was a miss. Do you agree? Now, again, way too early in the process. Maybe I should even back that up. Okay? I mean, right? That guy, Kenyon Green's not going to make the team. Here's who I got making the team. The 5 starters, Miles Hinton, Kendall, Pryor, and Trevor Keegan. There's your 9. If you're keeping 9. If you're keeping 9 O-linemen. Let's go down the list here again of what they did. We're going only by what they did. Now, some of these numbers are going to fluctuate. So, defensive tackle. Here's your tackles. Your interior linemen. Obviously, Davis and Carter. Let me see here. Moro Jomo. Ty Robinson. Thomas Booker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many did you keep a year ago? You kept 6. Okay? You kept 6 guys. So, Davis, Carter, Moro Jomo, Ty Robinson, Thomas Booker, and one more. Tell you, I heard him mention Gabe Hall a couple times. I think that kid Gabe Hall makes the team. So there's your 60 tackles, interior linemen. Davis, Carter, Ajomo, Ty, Booker, Gabe Hall. I think that's kind of what Clint told me too. They like that kid Joe Evans a bit. Says he's got pretty good feet. Okay? So I think Gabe's making the team. They like Gabe Hall. I've heard Vic and Clint talk about that dude a lot. Okay? Those guys, look, remember, Nolan Smith's an edge rusher, bro. We're not there yet. He's not a defensive tackle. Edge rushers. This is going to get interesting here. He kept 6 edge rushers last year. So here's the edge guys. Hunt. Smith. Who? Uche? You know what? Let me say this to you. They might keep more defensive tackles or more old linemen and not keep. I don't think they're going to keep as many edges. I think they're going to keep Hunt, Smith, Uche, and Ojulari. And this is what they're going to do. Campbell will be the 5th guy, and Bond will be the 6th guy. Does that make sense? 1, 2, 3. That frees up 2 roster spots. Does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying? You free up 2 roster spots by doing this. Hunt, Smith, Uche, Ojulari, and you've got Campbell and Bond who are being flirted with being an edge. You free up 2 spots, which means you might be able to keep another old lineman and you might be able to keep another defensive back. So you kind of have 2 guys playing 2 multiple positions, because we're going to see that in the secondary a little bit here because of Q and Cooper. So what you're doing here is you're creating more flexibility in the roster with the versatility. It's actually pretty smart. You get 4 traditional edge. 2 guys can cover the other 6 if you need, with Zach Bond and with Jahad Campbell. That's right. It's a 2-for-1 deal. And you get to free up roster spots for other positions you might feel a little bit lesser at. You understand? Hit the like button, guys. It's pretty smart there because, again, the rest of these dudes, I don't see these guys they're not making any impact in practice. So Uche and Ojulari have game experience. I'm going to keep those guys with what you dudes have. Maybe the Patrick Johnson kid, maybe they feel comfortable with him. I don't know. Maybe they put him on the practice squad. But I'm gonna keep 4 off the group, and I'm going to rotate my backers to fill the other 2 spots so I get a 2-for-1. And it helps me in versatility in my roster and who I might keep. You might want to keep another old lineman because, they've got a lot of old linemen they like. So let's go here now. This is what you did at linebacker. Okay. So here's the Eagle backers. Campbell, Bond, going to keep Dean. So there's 2 spots. Munden is going to be on the team. Trotter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The rest of those guys are gone or on the practice squad. Dallas Gant and these other guys. Your 5 backers are Campbell, Bond, Dean, Munden, and Trotter. Now, got to remember something here. Because of Dean potentially being on the PUP list, does that free up another spot? You want to hear this? I think they go outside the roster here because the rest of these guys, inside linebacker, unless Vic likes one of these guys, this Lance Dixon dude and Dallas Gant, which I don't think they do, they'll probably wait and see the waiver wire, or they'll just go into camp 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Dean, another roster spot being open. Or what they'll do is they'll go out in free agency and pick up and sign a linebacker. I could see them signing a linebacker. All right? So Dean being on IR hurts in depth. Okay, this is what you did at corner. Man, you kept 6 corners. Whew. This was a really good corner room a year ago. Turned out to be, I should say. Hit the like button, guys. These other Philly stations don't talk like this. Love this intellectual conversation about football. Keep it up. Gabe, you're part of that too. You're absolutely part of it. Here, Eagles a year ago. Well, you know what this does, Gabe? It tells you who the Eagles are looking at on keeping and building a roster. You won that Super Bowl with a roster, not just names. And to be candid, those guys don't know what the fuck they're doing on running a radio show or a television show. How would they know? Just listen to it. It's all over the place. Okay, so let's see here. Look at this guy. He's here every fucking day. Still's intellectual? Well, you're here for something, dude. Let's see here. So corners. How many corners did you get? How many? You kept 6 corners. Fuck, you don't have 6 corners. I mean, you guys don't have 6 corners. Q? Ringo? Jackson? Are you keeping Eli Ricks? I mean, I wonder if they're going to look at Q. Wait a minute. I mean, Cooper. I wonder if they're going to look at Cooper being a corner if they need. Does exhibition sway coaches? On your team? Absolutely. Lamar, I'm going to get to that topic in a minute. Do they keep Eli Ricks? Okay, let's do that. We'll go Ricks. By the way, I'll do the same exercise with Xander later. That'll be at 3:30. We'll get his spin on it. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more spots. See, I think you could do Cooper here and get 2 for 1 again. Right? Especially if they're going to play him at base. Or they're going to play him sometimes in third down or nickel or dime. You know, you could free up 3 spots here because of Bond, Campbell, and Cooper. Right? Got to keep Mac. There's 6 corners. There's your 6 corners. I think they're going to keep, get this. I think it's going to be Q, Ringo, Jackson, Ricks, Cooper, and Mac. They're going to put Cooper in that rotation if they so need fit to do it, right? Rest of these guys, I mean, Perry Nickerson, okay. I mean, yeah, sure, okay. This Fields guy, these guys are nobodies. They could even add a dude, but I think they're going to put Cooper in that rotation. That's 3 roster spots freed up for other positions that you might feel light on. In 2024, safeties. Wow. This is going to be tough to pick here because you're going to go Cooper, Reed, Sidney, Makuba, McCullum. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your 5. The rest of these guys are cut. The kind kid's gone. Those your 5. Cooper, Reed, Sidney, McCullum, and Makuba. That means you're freed up 3 roster spots for you to go deeper. What other areas of the team would you want to add from 2024 now with those 3 roster spots? Because the versatility you got because of Bond and Jahad Campbell, get this, there were 2 freed up there, and Cooper frees up a corner because he can go out and play corner. So there's 3 extra spots that you have where you can add additional players to. Would you add more old linemen? Instead of 9, add 10? Would you add another player to that mix and keep a that kid from the undrafted guy, that project kid? You put him on that's a practice squad. They don't really have a backup center unless you're talking about Landon. Landon's going to be the backup center moving forward. If they got any issues, Landon's your guy. Tight end. Rico, you're right. It's going to be tight end. You know what? Who's the running back's name that's starting to make some noise? By the way, guys, please hit the like button. Who's the running back guy that's making some noise that people like? He's UDFA. What's the guy's name? Montrell Johnson? Is that it? No, I'm not Mont. Who am I thinking of? Not thinking of him. Who am I thinking of here? That they have. Montel, is it Jordan? Okay. There's a UDFA running back that's kind of making some noise on the football team. So I didn't write his name down right. But there's somebody else that they may want to keep with a running back. Okay? You're lost. Not a shocker, guy. Remember, conversations like this are completely over Flexen's head. The fuck would he know? He's sitting there, sitting on the toilet, tweeting away with somebody. Hey, Cindy, how you doing? Breaking ESPN has cut ties with Shannon Sharp. Well, here, let me make that point to you here. Shannon Sharp, man, paid $23 million to a chick that beat the shit out of him in a hotel room. Hey, that's that's kind of crazy. Can you imagine something like that happen to Big Sills? See, this is why I could never do that shit that Shannon did. Knowing my luck, I'd walk in and be a dude there. And there'd be reporters there or something. Imagine that, Leon. Hey, Dan, I want to meet you over at the motel. It wouldn't be any high-class place because you know me. I'm going to be Motel 6. Hey, I want to meet you at the Motel 6. I'd walk in at 6 dudes. I'd be like, if it was M. Reyes, it would clearly be 7 dudes. And they'll be sitting around working on their, fantasy football stuff. Because M. Reyes sits at the end of the bar. He's one of those guys that goes to bars with dudes. Hey, man, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, okay. What do you got here? Instead of going to a bar with a chick, which I never go to bars with dudes. There's 2 things I don't do. I don't get my hair cut by a guy, and I don't go to bars with dudes. That's not going to happen. I told you, man, the scrapage on the arms. I can't have a guy cut my hair. It's just not. I felt assaulted the last time I had my hair cut by a guy. I think that's a phobia now that I have. I'm getting my hair cut because if you walk in and a guy cuts your hair, what's he like to do? He likes to scrape the coulions on your elbows, and I can't have it. I feel very uncomfortable. Every time I walk out of a place that a guy cut my hair, I feel like I've been assaulted. Was Shannon the guy running from the OnlyFans chick for not paying? Dude, you know what? I'm learning what that OnlyFans is. I hear M. Reyes has one. I hear he, like, after the show here, M. Reyes has his OnlyFans. Is that it? And he sits there, and I heard he's in a rubber outfit. Pretty entertaining, I heard, bro. Or M. Reyes, I hear you're the guy that threw that green dildo on the WNBA floor last night. Is that true? Just checking. Somebody threw a dildo on the WNBA's floor last night. And, gee, the guy got thrown out. I was like, wow. You get thrown out for throwing a dildo on the floor? Man, geez, that's a pretty tough crowd. You could throw anything at a football game. It was a green. I think it glue in the dark too, didn't it? Bold takes Hills. Vic starts his boy McCallum week 8. That's been my guy since day one. Look at Dez. Dez, I'm going to give you the clap, and this is you don't need tetracycline for. Dez gets it. Bring ratings. Dildos on floors. Absolutely. Very good. Okay. Sills goes to salons and then Chippendales. Chippendales, right. That's me. Yeah, I look it, don't I? Big, bold Sills walking into a Chippendales. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Doing what? What would I possibly do? I've been married for 40 years, you asshole. A green dildo on the floor. Pretty good for ratings. Yeah. So there's your team, man. I think they're going to go tight end. I think they're going to add a tight end. I think they'll go O-line, add another one. So like in 24, they went 9. I think they go 10. And I think they add a third tight end. They really don't have any corners. Except, again, I mean, if you think Keeley's the guy, okay? Hit the like button, guys. We appreciate you. All right. So let's go here. In the 5 days, I want you to pick me a guy who's been a star of Eagle training camp. Who's been the star of Eagle training camp? Who's been a star? Who's been a star? Yes, sir. Kudos. Jahad Campbell. I'll tell you what, man. How about this? Do you feel better about Jahad Campbell right now than you did about Q and Cooper at this time last year? I surely do. I do. Don't you feel better right now about what you're hearing about Jahad Campbell than you did? Look, Quinyon Mitchell was put in a starting lineup right away by Vic. Okay? That's not what I asked you and what you thought about him. I'm asking you, don't you feel better right now? Okay, so JD3 doesn't feel better about Jahad Campbell right now than he did about Q. Okay, well, I did, and I do. I didn't hear Quinyon Mitchell's name like I'm hearing Jahad Campbell's name. I'm going Jahad Campbell because you know why? Why would I go Jahad Campbell? Why would I go Jahad Campbell? Why would I go? Why would you go Jahad Campbell? Do you guys have an idea? Me too, man. That's a shocker too, with the injury too. Here's why. He semi-hurt? No. What's Vic's forte? What is his specialty? What is Vic Fangio's specialty? What is he known for besides being a spectacular defensive coordinator? Linebackers. If you're getting kudos from Vic Fangio, and that's his specialty on linebackers and understanding what linebacking is, I mean, the praise that he's given the kid by just putting him there and putting him in the first rotation says all you need to know. I'm not suggesting to you that he doesn't know corner play, because you have to know it in too high safety. But for me, when you have a guy who has coached the linebacker position for 47 years, and you hear a guy talking about that, and you hear a player talking about how Vic is telling him every day and seeing the small incremental improvements because of what that guy coaches at that position. I mean, again, Vic knows every position on his defense, and I'm not suggesting that, but I'm telling you that's what he's known for. And I would agree with Senor here with this. He is totally ahead of schedule. He is totally. Not only Sam, you're forgetting another Hall of Famer. You're talking about the guy from Pitt. You're talking about Vaughn Johnson, Pat Swilling, Defensive Player of the Year, Ricky Jackson. You're talking about some of the great linebackers that have ever played in the NFL. Vic knows the position. Kevin Green. I don't know what barbershop you've been to, but nobody touches my elbows. Well, you ain't as big as Bid Sills. That's why, Josh. You one of them little fellas. You're like Makuba. Hey, see Josh here? Josh could sit on one of them footstools and get his hair cut, like the little kiddie table. Big Sills is Big Sills for a reason, Junior. I fill out a barber chair. You're like Makuba. You sit in a little kiddie chair. When Makuba gets his hair cut, he sits in that little kiddie chair. Okay, little tiny guy. Hey, you just sit right there. You know when your feet swing? When Makuba gets his hair cut, his feet swing in the chair. His feet don't hit the floor. Hey, Don. Let me see here. What's this here? What did that guy say here? Yeah, okay. Let me see here. Hey, flexing. Ain't always been like that, Junior. How you doing? Squat 800 pounds and bench 600 pounds being a fat shit like you. How you doing? Hey, you want to see something cool, flexing? Let me show you something here. I think you'll get a big treat here, folks. So just to show you, see what you guys talk about, it's really like stupid shit. Most of the time, almost all the time here. But let me hook you up on something here. Dan Sileo. Let's go here. Okay, hold on here. Let me show you something here before we move on here. You'll get a nice little kick out of this. Hold on here. So let me show you something here. This is just one school. You see that there, boss? It's the University of Miami bench press records. How old is that? Let me see here. What is that? What is that? Sileo. 1986. What is 1986? How many years ago was that? By the way, that's 535 pounds. That's still a record today. How many years ago was that? Well, Miami didn't suck then, dickhead. Won 2 national titles there. How you doing? 38 years ago, that record's still standing. I got another one for you. Hold on here. See this? This is Maryland. Now, you guys won't be able to see this as much, but 405 down there at the bottom. That's still a University of Maryland record for freshmen. And that was 1983. That's 40 years ago, 42 years ago. Still the king. Hey, Flexin, manja the gots. Hey, when you talk my name, when it comes to superstar strength, I'm your guy. I got records across this country that are still standing. 40 years later, Gabago. Sills needed a spotter. Yeah, was my wife when I did 605. And she's 125 pounds, then 28 pounds. Yeah, she was my spotter. When I did 605. How you doing? Hit the like button, freakazoids. Absolutely, Jahad Campbell has been the star of Eagle training camp. Okay? How you doing? Pretty good stuff, man. Jahad Campbell. I would also put this guy's name. How about Moro Jomo? Moro Jomo. Wasn't there, dickhead. Wasn't there. 93? Not me. I never got killed. That didn't work. When you beat my teams, it was like the greatest day of your lives. Lost one game in 3 years. You think Big Sil's going to let you beat our teams? Not happening. Not happening. Moro Jomo's been good. Been really good. That's the one thing. I wish I would have. When I told Xander, when I said that Moro Jomo all pro, I wish I would have stood with that, but I don't know. We'll see if he can hold up. I think his big deal is going to be whether or not he could play as many plays as what Milton Williams did a year ago. Okay, I really do. I think it's going to be whether or not he can play as many reps because he's going to be asked to do a hell of a lot. But I would say Jahad Campbell, Moro Jomo have been a really great camp so far, and they've had really good ones. Okay? So, again, hit the like button. Appreciate you guys. So let's move on to another one here. As we said, Xander will be at 3:30. We'll go through that exercise again. And we will have Battle Royale. That'll be at 4:30. Hit the like button, guys. All right. So I want to make this comment. I heard the guys talking about this. And you know what's funny? We've been bringing this up for about a year now this time. The first person to bring this to your attention was that, remember what we said a year ago? Some of you weren't here. Some of you were here. I said the reason why Q and Cooper are going to be pushed ahead in their development is because of Devontae and A.J. Brown. When you got players like that on that side of the football, you're going to get an education in how to play the position because you've got to defend those guys in practice every fucking day. Every day. So someone may look like shit out there. But then you got to take a look at who you're playing on. I've been talking about this for over a year. When you've got a good football team and you got young players on that on your football team. Remember, Lamar, we were talking. We said, you know why Q's going to get pushed ahead of time and Cooper's going to get pushed ahead of time? You're going to be playing against some of the better players in the National Football League. Okay? You're going to be getting better and better and better and better and better. Especially when you're taking on route runners like Devontae and physical presences like AJ. Well, I would say this to you. If you're an edge guy on this football team, how do you get a true evaluation if you're Vic when you're getting annihilated by Mulata and Lane in practice every day and you're getting stymied and stuffed? The only way that those guys are going to get a true assessment is in exhibition football. You're getting stuffed in practice. Well, yeah. Those edge guys have to play because there's no way to get a fair valuation on Ojulari and Uche. How are you going to get an evaluation on those guys when you're going against Mulata and Lane? You go in one-to-one individual pass rushing, you're going to get stuffed. If you're going to go one-on-one blocking, you're going to get pancaked. There is no way to get a full read on what you have. How are you going to get an evaluation if those guys are good or not? Or it can be anything where you're going to go like this. You handle yourself against A.J. Brown and Mulata, the Giant players will be a walk in the park. Absolutely. Now, I agree with this, but this is to my point. And I appreciate Kyle, the super thank you. But, Bud, this is what I talked about. There are some people in here that don't look at practice and think practice is irrelevant. It's not irrelevant. How the fuck are you going to get an evaluation? And I'm going to go into the next topic here in a minute. But if you're on that football team and you got to go against Mulata and Lane, and you're halfway decent, I'm keeping that guy on my ball team. I don't care. I'm keeping him on my ball team. And listen, when you hear Jordan Mulata and Lane talking about Jalix Hunt, and you hear them talking about his development, man, I'm sorry. I know Vic's downplaying it, but I think Vic's downplaying it for a reason. He doesn't want the player to get ahead of himself and start reading headlines. So I get that, and I think he's like that. But I will say this, when you hear Mulata and Lane talking about players that you have on your roster who are getting better and better, and you hear Mulata calling Jalix Hunt a freak, I believe that because he's a freak. Okay? What is he talking about exactly? Like Liam Cohen is doing at the Jags. John, you must be talking about someone else, okay? Joint practices with the shitty Browns. Yeah, that'll help us. Well, wait a minute, Kim. I hear you. Kim, I think the Browns have an actually decent roster. Like, would you say this? Hey, Kim, how much better do you think the Giants roster is than the Browns roster, in your opinion? Seals Jomo has very strong hands when I watch him. He's got quick hands, too, and active hands. He might be proud, pound for pound, our strongest DT, and that says something. Absolutely. And they also have that offensive guard who's an all-pro. I mean, if you think about it, Kim, decent roster, but horrible organization. Well, I think the Giants aren't anywhere where you want to be when you're talking about great organizations, right? And I will give them this. They've built the D-line up in New York to being one of the better D-lines in the National Football League. So is Ty Robinson doing well or not? He's going against Dickerson and Mulata. This is kind of why I brought the topic back, Abe, because yesterday I was a little hard on him because I don't really think he's prepared. Well, you're going against the best two guys in the league. You know what? Let me say this to you. Okay? When you got to come out of college and you got to go against Lane Johnson and Jordan Mulata, and those two guys are the guys that are lining up in front of you, and you're a rookie, man, they're going to take you to school. I don't give a shit who you are. The top player in the draft's going to get killed against those guys. Don't ever think because you were the first pick or how good you were, you're not going to get killed. You are. It's the NFL. It's a completely different mindset and skill set when you play in the league. It's night and day. So Jordan Mulata is showing him you get away with what you thought holding was in college, right? What you thought holding was in college, that ain't holding in the NFL. You get held every play. Okay? You get held every single play. When we're talking about transition from rookie to the NFL. Dude, I swear to you guys, when I played in college, I was never fucking blocked. I never was blocked from the time I got to Miami. My freshman year, I probably was. But by the time I got to Miami, I went into games, I was never blocked. Nobody could block me. I got to the pros, holy shit. Don Mosbar, Mike Munchak, Bruce Matthews. These guys put your head on a swivel. Ray Donaldson took me to school. I had never fucking been around anything like that. This guy's doing head fakes on me. He's 6'5", 330, doing head fakes on me, and he benches 550. And you're like, holy fuck, man. It is an eye-opening thing when you get to the league and you play against dudes like that. I play against Don Mosbar. He's 6'7". He's about 285. And you're like, well, this guy, I'll take care of this guy. He's light. No fucking way. This guy had arms like he was Shaq O'Neal. I couldn't get anywhere near him. I couldn't understand why I couldn't get into Nate. You know why Nate Newton was so hard? He was left-handed. I've never seen a left-handed guard before who punched you with the opposite hand. It is so different. The skill on these players and the feet are so insane. They're some of the greatest athletes I've ever seen. And remember, why is it important for you to have great feet the closer you get to the ball? Why do you guys think that interior-wise? Why do you think it's more important to have better feet inside than sometimes even outside with defensive ends? Why do you guys think that? Do you know? Why would you have to have better feet inside? Smaller room to work with. You're right there. Less space. That's right. The closer you are inside to the ball, there's more traffic. You've got to pick your feet up more. When you're inside and you've got a ton of people around you, you know the key is pick your feet up high. Because if you're dragging your feet, you know what's going to do? You're going to lose your angle on pursuit. You have got to keep picking your feet up the closer you are to the ball. Outside, you have to have great feet. You got to be a great athlete. But when you're in a condensed area like a phone booth and you've got so much traffic around you, do you know what the number one thing that people become less of a tackler in is this? They drag their feet. They don't pick it up. They lose angles. The ball carrier gets on your outside shoulder, and he's fucking up the field. You cannot not keep your feet moving. That's right. That's another one. And then you fall on the ground. False steps at linebacker kill. You know, one of the worst things that, you see kids do, and you see a lot of people do when it comes to trying to be a great tackler. You tackle there's a lot of reaching when it comes to players who want to be good tacklers. You know why? Reaching is the first thing you try to do when you see a player that's getting closer to you. That's the biggest mistake that players make, and it's the hardest thing to control yourself with discipline. You move your feet closer, not your arms closer. That's how you become a prolific tackler. The first thing you do is when a player's coming closer to you is reach. Well, you're out of position when you reach. Anytime you reach for a player, you are out of position. Move your feet closer to the player. You'll always be in position, protecting your outside flank, pushing them back inside towards pursuit. When you stop your feet, it's over. Why do you think people make juke moves? You know why? The first thing what an inexperienced tackler will do, he'll stop his feet or slow down. You're done. Anytime I see somebody juke, You know what the first thing I do is? I protect the sideline. Because that's what they're trying to get to. They're trying to get to the sideline and the perimeter. That's what makes a great tackler. That's right. Cooper DeJean is a textbook tackler because he uses angles. What is a proper comparison to the difference in speed from the NFL compared to college? I appreciate that. I'll answer that. It is it's the exact same thing in boxing and MMA. Absolutely. Footwork. You know how you knock a guy out, like Kim's saying? You knock him out with your feet and your positioning. So let me give you a comparison compared to the NFL and college. Okay? Anything you do in your life and you know what you're doing, you do it quick. Anything you don't know and you have doubts in, you do it thinking and you do it slower. In the pros, these guys are so good at repetition and having done it so many times, it's second nature. How many things in your life do you do that's second nature? You pick a fork up, you walk, you open the door. All of that is quick twitch reaction because you know what you're doing. When you're in the NFL and you're seeing these really great players, those guys have done it, seen it, been there. It's really all about experience. Okay? The people that have the great experience do things second nature. You know, I keep making a comment about my daughter, and like she's got a lot of like older players that have been like in the game a long time. And you look at those players, she looks at those players the same way a rookie will look at the NFL guys and go like this, man, those guys are so good. Will I ever be that good? Every NFL player says that shit. Will I ever be that good? Will I ever get to being like that? Yeah. All you got to do is stick with it. Okay? I mean, this is why Keely Ringo's struggling. It's not because he's not a good athlete. Keely Ringo is struggling because he hasn't had the reps. You know, he's got ability. He just doesn't have the experience. And when you guys were debating me on telling me that, you know, just because you haven't started, it doesn't matter. You're fucking seeing that play out right now. And then you're figuring out, well, you got to be also a body that can hold up. Bakuba, 3 days in, boy, am I down on that guy. You can't get through fucking walkthroughs and helmets and shorts? Helmets and shorts. And you're hurt? Helmets and shorts. Really? They've only had 1 day of full contact. How the fuck is that guy going to play when he can't get through helmets and shorts? How's that possible? I'll tell you what, the Eagles like undersized guys. Jacoby, Nolan, these guys are nicked up always. That is something that has been, I don't know. I mean, every undersized defensive player that they've signed has been with some nicks and bruises and missed time. I mean, I don't know. Nolan's had injuries. Kobe's had injuries. Makuba can't get through walkthroughs. He can't get through walkthroughs. And I'm supposed to think that guy's going to be the star. Get this. Vic said something the other day that really makes me go like this. Does Vic really have any say in the personnel that Howie brings in? I wonder if he's starting to get frustrated. That's a great, wait. I just figured something out here. Vic's frustrated. Vic Fangio is frustrated. Why is he frustrated? Why is Vic frustrated? Let me write it down here. I want to see if you guys get it. I want to lose my train of thought. This guy says he plays who he wants. No, who he has. Who he has. So here, let me ask you this. He's frustrated probably with the amount of talent they lost. And exactly what Kyle just said. That was a subtle shot across the bow at Howie. I don't know. Howie signed him. Brought him in here. Didn't ask me. And I'm adding this. I don't know how he wanted him, how he signed him. And there he is. I never really watched the guy play. He had no impact in the Adoree Jackson signing. That wasn't a Vic Fangio signing. He was like this. I don't know. That's a Howie sign. How many other players were like that on the team? Ojulari, Uche, those are all Howie signs. Vic doesn't have anything to do with that. He basically told you that with the Adoree Jackson signing. He goes, he signs guys and brings them in here. Get this. I'm not putting words in his fucking mouth. That's exactly what he said. How he signed him. I don't know. He was here. And then he went into saying, hey, he's got to show up sometime and show us who he is. That's not Ryan. Stop fucking sucking the guy off. That's what he said. Jesus criminy, dude. You got to be kidding. I mean, you get people in here. And by the way, I want Vic Fangio making those calls like that. I mean, I want a coach that's going to go, I didn't sign that guy. That's not, hey, Adoree Jackson, Darius Slay. How you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Keely Ringo, Isaiah Rodgers. I ask again, Keely Ringo, bitching again? No, I'm making a point. Stop fucking crying, Steve, over your Eagles. They do make mistakes. Okay? They do make mistakes. Get this. Listen to this. You don't know if Vic is frustrated because of the guy Howie brought in. When Howie turns and says, I don't know, Howie brought him in. I didn't sign him. I never watched any game film on him. I've never really paid attention to his ability. I've only seen a little bit of what he's doing here. I don't really know anything about the player. And this is what this dickhead will try to tell you, that, you know what? That's not a frustrating thing. When a guy brings someone in that he's never seen or never really thought about being in his roster, this guy will come up and glaze it over here like, hey, guess what? That was a Vic signing. Vic had something to do with it. Yeah, okay. No, that sounds it. What a stupid take. Okay? Vic changed the culture by playing who's good. Tony, I think Vic changed the culture by playing who's good by what he's been given. Here, look at this. This guy's trying to make you feel that the Eagles had the same roster a year ago as the Jets. Every coach this time of the year is frustrated. Well, not every coach had the number one defense in the pro football last year. Do you not agree, JD3? Every coach, all 32 coaches are in the same position you're saying that Vic is in this year. How's that possible? Every coach is frustrated. Every coach didn't have the number one defense in the league last year. You can't compare Vic's situation to the New York Jets. By the way, he might be frustrated. I'm not telling you he can't fix it and figure it out. That's not what I'm saying here. Okay? Let's see here. Yeah, but Vic inherited bottom-ranked defense. They didn't start out as number one. That's irrelevant. They finished number one. That's not what I'm talking about. You have to try to at least follow along. Let me, okay, see this here? Defense lost 5 starters. We're figuring shit out. So, RC3, in your opinion, you're going to figure the shit out like you did a year ago with what you have on the field right now and on the roster right now. I don't think you have a safety to say outside of Reed Blankenship. I think Sydney's had a pretty good camp, kind of, I guess, for whatever that means. We have to see him play. We've never really seen Sidney Brown play. I'm not saying either way. I don't know. Okay? Look at M. Reyes. Seals, can you name coaches that are smooth right now? Who's not frustrated? What team is humming 100%? You had the number one defense and you took a blowtorch to it because you wanted to think about 26 and 27. The topics that I brought up in the offseason, you fucking blew off it because you torched the number one defense. That's where we are right now. And that's the difference. You downsized from what you had 5 months ago. You downsized. And it was self-inflicted. Yes or no? Was it self-inflicted? Yes. You did this to your defense. No one else did it. There's a difference here. Every move you made this year was for 26 and 27. You blowtorched the defense. Did you not? Holy cow. You had the number one football team on that side of the football a year ago, and now you've got 5 new question marks off the top-ranked defensive football team, and you're trying to compare your situation to the New York fucking Jets. How are you doing that? How are you doing? I'm not going back over any of that stuff with you, Guy. Do we not upgrade at linebacker? It seems it. You didn't upgrade at corner and safety. You have not. And here, let's go back on one thing that some of you idiots in here don't understand and never will understand. Okay? Vic values camp reps, and it's how you make the team. Yes or no? For you to make the Philadelphia Eagles team, camp reps, practice reps, how you practice. determines who plays. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. Yes. Look at this guy. They didn't blowtorch the defense by blowing 5 starters out. Okay. You have a different opinion of me then, dickhead. Okay. Yeah. You don't have a safety on your football team right now, in my opinion, that will have the play and make the plays that Gardner Johnson will make or would have made here this year. And you don't have a corner in the room with Slay right now. And you're telling me you upgraded or it's the same. Sure. Well, that's not how Vic's talking. The only people are talking like that are you. You're messy as hell, Sills, you dickhead. Yeah. Thanks for the super, kid. I'm optimistic about the front seven, but I'm more questions. Yes. As I say, dude, and thank you very much, Kyle. I'll say this to you, that I'll do this. I'm more sold on a Jomo and Jalix Hunt covering for Sweat and Milton today than I am and when I was starting the camp. I absolutely am. I am. I'm more encouraged by that. I don't know if they're going to have the same kind of reps and the same kind of impact. Now remember something. Xander brings this up all the time. You guys, what's the I'll paraphrase it here. You and John make it sound like these guys are fucking superstar players. Well, they were in that defense. That don't mean they're going to be superstar players in another system. Did you hear what Pete Carroll's saying about Devin White with the Raiders? He's like, this kid's unbelievable. I can't believe how fucking good he is. Devin White's going to start for the Raiders. I don't know what that means. But Pete Carroll's been one of the greatest defensive-minded coaches and a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, he's been one of the best. I mean, there's nothing that Carroll hasn't seen. He's one of the very few coaches in the history of the NFL and college football that have won a national title and a Super Bowl. Devin White's going to start with the Raiders because he fits into Pete's system. Okay? He didn't fit in Vic's system, and he ran out of gas for whatever reason with Todd Bowles. But let's not forget, Pete's a defensive-minded guy. He brought numerous guys into New England. All those guys that were brought in, like Teddy Bruschi, those guys were brought in. Troy Brown, those guys were brought in by Pete. Hit the like button, guys. Sometimes it's where a player lands. I also happen to think that Devin White had a come to Jesus comment or a conversation with somebody that said, Sills, or Devin, you're losing it, kid. Sills, I actually agree with your take. I'm nervous about the safety and corner. Okay. Again, I think Campbell really played here. Once again, Vic values. And I'll ask the question again. Do you believe that practice reps is how you make the football team with Vic Fangio? Practice. How you practice. Camp reps. This is how you move up in his eyes. Ain't going to be exhibition football. They don't subscribe to that. They just don't subscribe to it. Get this. For Vic to notice you, who's the guys that he's starting to notice? Mac McWilliams? Tristan McCullum? Who else? Campbell? Who else does he mention? By the way, as everyone was glazing over Adoree Jackson, he wasn't glazing him. He was like, yeah, well, and by the way, I don't know how you guys, well, listen, I know how coaches think when they're talking about a player. And when a general manager and a defensive coordinator, and you hear a DC say this, I don't know how he got here. I didn't sign him. How he signs these guys, brings them in. And, I never saw the player. I never paid attention to the player. And there he is. What's that sound like to you? What's that sound like to you? Here, let me hear you make something out of that. What do you make of that? When you hear him talking, that's a Howie guy. Best players would play under Vic. And I'm hear it. Okay, well, he can only play the best players he has. And he's going to play the best dudes of that litter that he's being given. Okay? Again, you can make it anything you want. When Vic Fangio says that's a Howie sign, I don't know. I never paid attention to the player. What do you make of that? Curious. What do you make of that? He brings the GM's name up. What do you make of that? Hey, that's a Howie sign. I don't know the player. Get this. I didn't say this. Vic said it. Get this. This guy thinks I said that. Your D coordinator said it. Vic is part of the final 53. Is he? Well, he's not. Wait a minute. So you think Vic's part of the final 53? Probably so. Well, let me ask you this. Do you know how the setting of the roster works? Do you guys know how rosters are picked? So, Lamar, you believe that Vic is going to be part of the 53, right? Then why do position coaches have to battle to try to keep more players at their respected position if they're part of the 53? He wasn't part of the 90. Fangio wasn't part of the 90. Adoree Jackson's a prime example of that. He wasn't part of the 90-man roster set. Okay, he wasn't. Now you're telling me he's part of the 53, and yet he wasn't part of the 90. Vic says, what was the word John used? Vic bombs? Dude, he undresses everything and exposes everyone with some of the shit he says. So here, do you guys know who rosters are set? So let me go over here. So like a year ago, 2024, we're going to do this exercise with Xander soon. Quarterbacks, there were three running backs, 5 receivers. So here's how it goes. I've been in these rooms. The entire coaching staff gets together. Head coach is at the front table. Coordinators are on each side of the coach's table. One side, you have the defensive-minded coaches from the D-line, Clint Hurt, all the way down to Christian Parker. Other side, you'll have Kevin Patullo. You'll have all the coaches go down on that side of the aisle. And at the end of the table will be the general manager. And then what they'll do is this. Jeff Stoutland will be first up, and he'll say, well, this is why we need 10 guys or 11 offensive linemen. They'll take everything. He'll make his pitch on why he needs to have 11 O-linemen and why you look at, I want these 11. We've drafted these guys. We got guys from a year ago. We want to keep between, and they'll go in with an exact number. I want 11 guys. And then they'll go and he'll put 11 down. Let me finish. Then Vic or the Clint Hurt will go, what'd you keep a year ago? I want 8 defensive tackles. We're going to need it for depth. We're not quite as deep as a year ago. And we need some more depth. You know how you guys did it in 22 when you got Linville Joseph? And you guys went out and got Sue? That was in-season stuff. They'll make the pitch where you're talking, I need 8 interior defensive linemen. You'll go down the list like this. I want to keep more wide receivers, what have you. The coach, the general manager, and the coordinators will make their pitch, all of it. The general manager and the coach and the coordinators will ask everyone else to leave the room. And then what you do is the GM, the coordinators, the head coach will set the final roster. That's how it's done. Howie will go and Howie will make the final call. That's not going to be the head coach's call. Howie will make the call on who stays and who goes. It won't be Nick. That's not Nick's job. That's not Nick's job. How he drafts them, how he signs them, how he brings them in. Nick doesn't pick out of the room who stays and who goes. So let me get this right. How he drafts them, signs them, gives them extensions. Nick makes that call. You're fucking drunk. Seals, did Vic have issues with Gardner Johnson? Christian Parker did. So, Howie will make the call. Vic didn't make the call on Adoree Jackson being signed. He told you that. What do you think he would, how in the world would you think he would demand a guy stay or go when the guy was signed by someone else without Vic saying? Oh, I see. So Vic's going to go and supersede and go ahead. By the way, remember what he said about Gardner Johnson being cut? Yeah, he cut him. That was a Howie Roseman salary cap move. He cut his player without telling him. He brought Adoree Jackson in without telling him. Are you not getting that? How that works? By the way, these are their words, not mine. Hey, by the way, for the record, it's worked. You can't dispute the success. Vic and Kevin and Nick's job is one thing, to coach the team that they put together as a group. That's Vic and Nick's job, along with Kevin Patullo. Their job is to coach the roster, plain and simple. Decision-making, you may want 11 O-linemen, you may want 9 O-linemen, whatever. Howie's going to make the final call and who's going to make the club or not. John McMullen said something interesting today. You know what it was? They hate to cut players they draft. Why is that? Because it's people in the front office don't like to be wrong on player selection. Not who's best. The comment should be, we're going to keep who's best, not who's drafted. Again, It works. You cannot dispute the success of that way of doing it. That's common everywhere. Now, the difference here, okay, the difference here is John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, the head football coaches Jim Harbaugh have more say in actually who stays on the team because they were Sean Payton. Those guys have more say on who stays because their job titles are different than Nick's. I'm not telling you one's better than the other. I'm just saying, and by the way, the Eagle way of doing it is better than Denver's way. Okay, it's just better. So don't kid yourself here on how this roster will be set. Seals, you're getting into the weeds. Keeping players they draft also keeps the salary down. Yes. It's a great, great spin by you. That's correct. When you keep undrafted free agents and you keep free agents on one-year deals, look at the money that's being spent on the defensive side of the football as of today in 2025. It's chicken shit compared to the offense. They're not even in the same room. You got guys on one-year deals and you got guys on rookie deals. That's obviously going to change. But right now in 25, bro, you don't have a very expensive defense. You got one guy that's making double digits, right? Bond? Who else is making double-digit money? Is there anybody else on that defense making double digits? You got one dude making $17 million. The rest of them, rookie contracts and one-year free agent deals. Shit. The entire offensive football team is $187 million. Double digits, right. Jordan Davis, you're right. Jordan just got, I believe, 11? Davis has got 11. So you got two dudes out of 11 guys making double digits. One guy at 17, one guy at 11. And I'm talking just for 25. That's obviously going to change. Okay? By the way, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Reyes. Harsh on what? The system works and how you're doing it. What the hell are you talking? I have no idea what you're talking about, obviously. Way over my head what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking. Bro, I mean, I have no idea what you're talking about. None. I'm not telling you they're doing it wrong. I'm telling you how they're doing it. Seals, if you were Howie, would you listen to what Vic wants or what Stoutland wants? I'm not telling you that they don't have input or some type of input on what they're looking for. Here, let me show you this, Abe. I'll give you a Tony Dungy came on this program and explained this very clearly to you how he did it. This is exactly how Howie will do it and bring the type of guys that Vic Fangio wants in. What's the number one thing that shows you that Howie listens to Vic? What would be the number one thing? Well, what would be the number one thing? Mac McWilliams said it the other day. This is not that hard. What's the number one thing Mac Williams said the other day? What did he say? I'll help you. I ran a zone in college. So Howie knows what that looks like. What's the profile of a player? Versatile? Played in zone, multiple fronts. Could potentially play multiple positions. Fit schemes 4-3, 34, 5. And then you know what Howie does? Howie puts a name on that. Vic doesn't know the name. He's looking for the profile of the player. That's why when you hear him saying, I didn't know shit about Adoree Jackson, but the profile fits. Why? Zone, versatile, has played in systems like that. The name on the back of the jersey is not important to Vic. Do you fit a scheme? That's why, again, Vic didn't know shit about the player. He said it. I never really watched him. There he was. But how he brought a guy in that fits exactly what he's looking for to fit that scheme. Okay? I mean, there's no doubt you're seeing a lot of undersized guys being brought in, right? Why is that? Makuba's undersized. Nolan Smith's undersized. Nakobe Dean's undersized. Why do you think that has been a profile that Howie's been signing? Because you have to have guys with speed who can play in space. This is not that difficult. Listen to Vic. He'll tell you everything. Like John McMullen said, they're like Vic bombs. This guy fucking tells you every day what he's looking for and what he's going to do. That's right. Here's a problem here you got with Trotter. Trotter's slow in space. That's not a traditional. Here, you know why Trotter's a bad draft pick? Because you drafted him because of the last name on the jersey. He's not a system guy that fits in that system like Munden. Munden is an athlete. Okay? He's an athlete who can play in space. That's what you're looking for. There's kind of an MO that you have and what he's looking for. By the way, once again, let's underscore it. How they pick their players, how they pick guys to be on the final 53. It's worked. Nobody's bitching at it. Hey, picking football players and getting down to the 53-man roster, folks, that ain't that easy. It's a brutal decision to have to cut certain guys. Those guys don't want to get there with that. All right. I want to play this. I want to do this exercise here with Xander here because I want to show you a little bit on the versatility, and I want to see if he believes what I do, that there's going to be 3 extra roster spots to play with because of the way the roster has been constructed. And I'm going to make a point and see if he buys it in here too. And also, 5 days, I think that's a walkthrough today, right? And then next week we got the Bengals. Tomorrow we got Lions and Chargers for the NFL's Hall of Fame game there in Canton, Ohio. This weekend, players will go in. Eric Allen will be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So you Eagle fans will get a lot of great folks being able to go up to Canton and watch him get inducted in the Hall of Fame this weekend. Make sure you guys keep checking out Big Z Show with John McMullen. Some great content. Make sure you hit that show. Without further ado, our boy Big Z, Xander Kraus, joins us right now.
What up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. I mean, here we are, dude. We're like 8 days out from the start of the Bengals and getting ready for that thing here. If you had to pick a guy for the first 5 days of Eagle training camp and you were to give him the first weekly award, who is it?
Quinyon or Jihad?
Why both?
Quinyon, because there's always some level of, I don't want to say concern, but some level of thought process where what is a second-year player going to do, going to be, and how are they going to come back to camp? It's one thing to get drafted. You go right to rookie mini camp. You don't have much of an offseason the year you get drafted, right? And then you have a long year last year with the Birds. They go much deeper than the other teams. They win the Super Bowl, obviously. Then the celebration, the parade, everything that came with the offseason. So you show up to camp and you want to make sure that they're going to have another good year. I mean, you also see across the league where sophomore slump. There's a reason that stereotype exists, or that slogan exists, I guess you could say. So I think he was my question, or one of my questions about the returning guys, and he seems to be just fucking, money right now, and not locking down A.J. Brown, playing all over the football field. Vic's already talking about him like, I got to cross-train everybody else to make sure that they can do what I ask them to do, because I want Quinyon to move all over the field. That's not normal for Vic. He wouldn't do that if he didn't feel highly of that player. He didn't even have Slay travel last year at all, not even once. So the thought process that Vic wants to now travel Quinyon, I think, speaks to how highly Vic thinks of him as a player. And then Jihad Campbell, mostly because we didn't know when he was going to be out there. And we're not even in August yet. It's July 30th as we sit here today. And he's making plays. He's getting first-team reps. He's throwing Dallas Goedert to the ground. He's running like a gazelle. One reporter tweeted out. I think, look, I'm not ready to say he's going to be an all-pro, but I think it's a good sign as compared to what we believed coming into camp just a couple of weeks ago.
I made the comment he might be more productive this year than Bond, because Bond will be the centerpiece on what teams are going to circle when it comes to the attacking of the Eagle defense, especially when it comes to the underneath of that zone. But I'll say this to you, and I underlined that, and that's what I wrote down. The traveling thing for me, and such a young player for Vic, that speaks volumes to how he thinks of the player. And you got to remember something with Vic. His words matter, but also, too, how he hands responsibilities to you matter. Because how he thinks of you is going to be the expanded roles that you're given when you see him in practice. And being told that you're going to be the travel guy. Now, let me ask you one question, though. Is he traveling because he doesn't believe that Keely Ringo's the guy? Or is he traveling because he believes that guy there, okay, at the end of the day,
right,
how I'm going to use him? So which is it? Do you think it's more, or is it both?
Listen, man, that's not a bad point by you. It could be a little bit of both. It could be last year he was confident, so he didn't feel the need to travel Slay. But I don't know. I'm going off of, well, we've only had Vic 1 year. It's tough to compare.
Well, 22, he was kind of a consultant to the whole thing.
But that's not him calling the shots. He can't call the shots. And I'm not going to go off of what he did, in other places when he didn't have the type of talent that the Eagles have. I'm going to go that I don't think his solution to shoddy play opposite Quinyon would be to move Quinyon if he didn't think Quinyon could handle it.
If Slay was still on the team, would Q travel?
Probably not. Right? Why? Then
Right.
Well, because but remember that's not just a knock on or
it's not a
because
knock on
it does show Slay was not.
It's a knock on
moving Slay around. Like that's why they're training these other dudes right now to try and get work at other spots. Can Ringo even play on the left side? Can the slot corner move out or whatever you would have to do change to throw Quinyon all over the field. So I don't know. It's a fair way to think about it. I think it's probably a little bit of both, to be honest.
Let me play this game with you, Xander. I want to go down the list here with you. And I want to get to 53 men here.
All right.
So they're going to keep three quarterbacks, right? They're going to keep Hurts, McKee, and McCord will be the three, right?
I think.
Okay.
I think so. I don't know. Apparently DTR has had good practices, but I still think they're keeping the draft pick.
Okay, I'm going off of 24. Now, this will wobble here a little different. 3 running backs, right? They're going to keep Barkley, Shipley, and Dillon.
Yep.
Okay. Receivers. Interesting here now. Dotson, Devontae, AJ. Who are the final 2? Wilson, Marshall, Anais Smith.
Probably give me Johnny and give me Terrace.
Wilson and Marshall. Anais Smith is out.
I got Anais out because I think Johnny provides something in the run game where Anais doesn't. Now, Anais maybe has some special teams caliber. We didn't really see much of that, but I think Avery Williams would fill that role, but maybe he wouldn't make the team because he falls in the wide receiver camp too. So I don't know. Who's going to return punts?
Yeah, no, right. This is, getting to the 53 on here's the problem that people I'm talking to people here, picking the Eagle 53 versus picking the Jets 53.
Right.
What do you think is harder to do here?
Yeah, right.
Okay. I mean, most of these guys that you cut will be picked up. Okay. And I
don't know if Anais Smith is getting picked up right away. Remember, that's part of the game, though. Like, they'll look at, okay, can this guy get through waivers a little bit easier than this guy? Maybe we'll get rid of this guy for now.
Squad.
Right, just because of that. They tried to do that last year with Dylan McMahon, that center they drafted, but he got picked up by the Rams. I don't know if he's still with them.
Okay, so let's go to tight end. Last year you kept 2. This year you're going to run the ball more. Are you going to keep 3?
Run the ball more than last year?
No, you're going to run the ball. Okay, you're going to run the ball. Well, here, wait a minute now. Remember this. A year ago you kept 2. Not with the premise you were going to run the ball 486 times.
It's fair. It's fair.
So now do you change that mentality because you changed the mentality last year with running the ball? Remember, you picked this roster based off of what?
Yeah, I think somebody would have to
ball more.
Somebody would have to make it really freaking hard to cut them in order for them to keep 3, in my opinion. Now, maybe it's Harrison Bryant. Maybe I don't know if it's one of those dudes in the back. They haven't really done shit in camp so far. None of them. I haven't heard really one good word about it. Not many of them. So other than Calcaterra still looks decent. So that's pretty good. But, I don't know. Maybe actually Handsome Hustler might be onto something here. Maybe you do keep 3 and then you keep an extra receiver so you can move Johnny or at least call Johnny a tight end and then keep Anais as well for special. I don't know.
Remember, you got a fullback position to deal with too now.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got a fullback deal you got to keep. But let me go to this O-line here. Last year, I heard John say 11. And I'll tell you where maybe that could be. I don't believe 11. I think 10 maybe. But here, check it out. So your 5 guys obviously are going to be Mulata, Dickerson, Juergens, and Steen. That leaves room, if you're going by based on a year ago, 4. That means this: Hinton, Kendall, Pryor, and I would say you're getting rid of Kenyon Green.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Okay, so the other 4 would be Pryor, Kendall, Trevor Keegan, Miles, Hinton. The rest of those guys are gone, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to look at the list of offensive linemen because John says there's 14 NFL capable offensive linemen on this team. They're not keeping all 14, obviously. So I'm trying to figure out all of them because there's a lot. They're definitely keeping Drew Kendall. I think Trevor Keegan's on the bubble. Darian Kennard's on the bubble. I think Kendall Lamb will probably be here. I think
wow. They're going to cut some good players here.
Matt Pryor is probably going to be here.
Matt Pryor, because he's going to swing.
Yeah, I could see Matt Pryor definitely. I think he's a lock. Tyler Steen mentioned.
Green. Dude, that deal with CJ looks worse now because you're going to cut the player you traded in that deal too, and you're having issues at safety. I mean, that deal's not looking very good as of right now.
Yeah, Cam Williams. John said he hasn't been practicing great. Now, he's super young, right? That's the young one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And Miles Hinton, I don't know how he's done. I haven't heard much about him.
They're going to keep him.
You think so?
I do, because they're going to give him a shot. They're going to give him a shot. They don't like cutting draft
All right,
picks.
so we got the 5 starters. You got Pryor, Drew Kendall, Kendall Lamb. You got, I think Brett Toth makes the team. They like him.
No. You don't think Keegan makes the team then?
I think Keegan's on the bubble. I think he's right there on the bubble.
So that final roster spot, depending if they go 10.
I think I'm assuming 10 right now. What would you think? Would you think more than 10?
Watch this. Let me get back to that, and I'm going to show you something here because I'm going to go over the
That will change depending on how we build out the rest of it.
Correct. Okay. Your interior defensive tackles. Interior lineman. Mauro Jomo, right? What'd you keep a year ago? Let me think. You kept defensive tackles. You kept 6. Okay. So that means a Jomo, Davis, Ty, Booker. Boy, I hear Gabe Hall a lot. I hear they like that guy. I heard I heard Vic talking about him. Okay, and Carter, obviously. Your 6 will be Carter, Davis, Booker, Ty Robinson, Gabe Hall, and Moro Jomo. You good with that?
Let's see.
That's 6, if they keep 6.
6 feels heavy, no?
That's what they did a year ago.
Okay.
They kept 6 defensive tackles.
So who'd you have? You had Carter, Davis, Jomo, obviously the 3. Ty Robinson, 4.
Yep.
Thomas Booker, 5.
Yep.
And then who'd you have 6?
Gabe Hall.
Gabe Hall's a project.
I hear Vic talking about him a lot.
Okay, maybe Gabe Hall. Maybe Gabe Hall. You could also throw maybe in a Byron Young or the Ugbo guy that they just picked up recently.
Okay.
Apparently he's actually not a bad player. So now
okay.
he's older. I think he's 30.
He is.
He's 30, I believe. So he's probably one of the older guys actually on the entire roster right now. But Agbo Akoronwo Okoronkwo, I don't know how to pronounce that name. I'm normally pretty good at names. That's a tough one. Okay. I don't know. 6 feels heavy, dude. 6 is a lot.
That's what they kept last year. So now here's the edge. And this is where I think you start picking roster spots up. Follow me here. So obviously, Hunt and Smith. And let's just say for shits and giggles here, Ojulari and Uche. The rest of these guys at edge, to me, you kept, again, what'd you keep a year ago? What'd you say? 6 edge rushers. Don't you think you could split it up by going like this? I could create 2 roster spots by doing this. Well, I'll put Campbell out there and I'll put Zach Bond out there if I need another pair of edge rushers when it comes to rotation potentially, or if I have to have a guy with emergency, I create 2 extra roster spots for my old line and maybe even my tight end.
Yeah.
With that, when I could, because what? They're practicing both these guys out there.
That's right.
So you've created a little bit more latitude on that side of the ball because of the versatility of Jahad Campbell and Bond. Does that make sense?
Yep, definitely. Definitely makes sense.
So you've created 2 extra roster spots because you use the versatility of the players. Okay, right. That's a great thing.
Agbo, by the way, he's more of a defensive end, so I don't know if he's more in this room than the tackle room. That's my mistake. I read it wrong here.
Okay, so let's go now, linebackers. So last year you kept 5. This year you're going to keep, obviously, you're going to keep Campbell and you have Bond. You're going to
wait, did you do the edge rushers?
Yeah, I went this way.
Are you including them in the linebacker room?
No, I did edge. I went Smith and Hunt, and I did Ojulari and Uche. And what I did to create the 2 extra roster spots, I just said, let me put Jahad Campbell outside and Zach Bond outside because you're practicing them out there.
Exactly. Use the versatility. Okay, I got you. I
created 2 open roster spots for you to be more versatile when it comes to picking the final roster 53-man. So you got 2 open now because you use some of the versatility that we're talking about here. So your inside linebackers, you're going to go Bond, you're going to go Dean, and you're going to go Campbell. You're going to go Munden, and you're going to go Trotter. There's your 5 guys.
You're definitely going Trotter. He apparently looks really good in camp.
Okay, so there are your 5 guys, right? Bond, Dean, Trotter, Campbell. That's actually 4, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, and Munden. The rest of those guys are gone, right? Munden, Campbell, Trotter, Dean, and Bond will be your 5 guys you're keeping, correct?
Yeah, sounds right to me.
Okay, your cornerback room. Wow. They kept 6 last year. I don't know you have 6, but let's do it. Okay, so you're going Ringo.
We don't have 6. 6? They kept 6 last year?
Kept 6.
They're not keeping 6 this year.
Ringo.
You got Quinion,
Ringo and Mitchell.
You got you counting Cooper here? Cooper, right?
I'm gonna get to him. Are you keeping Eli Ricks?
I mean, he's a bubble player right now. Let's see how the rest of it pans out.
Okay, Adoree Jackson you're keeping, correct?
Yep, keeping him, and you're keeping Mac McWilliams, I would say, for
And
sure.
you're keeping Mac McWilliams. Okay, so that's 4. Are you keeping – okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Maybe like
Now, do you add Cooper to this? Follow me here. You add Cooper, and there's 5. Cooper then creates another open roster spot because you've used them both at the safety position and you're using them at corner because you can make them versatile if you need to play them. You're opening a 3rd roster spot. Does that make sense? So now you're going to use Jahad Campbell, and you're going to use Cooper DeJean, and you're going to create more open spots because you're using them in 2 different places. So you've created 3 openings here. So I don't know. I don't see 6 guys on this team. This Fields guy and these Woods guy and this Nickerson guy, these people are nobodies. I mean, I got McWilliams, Ringo, Q. I think Ricks has got to make the team if you're going with this group of players. I mean,
I agree.
Let's go here with safety.
That's kind of thin.
It is thin. They don't really have a lot of bodies there.
Yeah, that's thin. Maybe Ricks does make the team.
I think he does.
Yeah.
Here's safety now. Reed, Makuba, Cooper again, McCullum, Brown, and you've got Cooper, like I said, creating another open spot.
Yeah.
You've created 4 openings with Cooper. You've created, get this, Cooper's so valuable. You know, Xander, we say this all the time about paying him. Can you imagine if you created 2 open spots at safety and at cornerback, and he plays nickel for you, that you create where you can have more depth at multiple positions because the guy can play multiple positions for you? Isn't that a financial value for you?
Yeah. No, it is. It is. But you still got to have him do that. I mean, you confident in him to do that?
I want to see him at corner. I want to see him play out there. I heard John say
this is not a good bunch either.
No, it's not. Isn't it funny how you get through the first part of camp, you start looking at it more, and you look at it and you're like this. The question marks become, again, you're not moving off of anything you're saying, but what you do is you go like this. Damn, that corner and safety position, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's some corners that we left out, but they're all, I mean, they're all free
dudes.
They're all undrafted free agent. You got the Lewis Seen dude back there. I don't know if he's safety corner. BJ Mays, AJ Woods, Brandon Johnson. These are all Max and Hook. These are all undrafted guys.
The Timu guys you're talking about.
Barely even Timu, man. These dudes making $100,000.
Yeah. Hey, you made a point about something, and I want to ask you about it. So you're telling me Makuba can't get through fucking helmets and shorts?
I know. That's just what I've been saying for the last 2 days. Eagles fans don't want to hear it because they're all high on the dude. I'm not talking about 3 years down the line, Sills. I think he's going to be a good player in this league once he adds some weight on and gets some muscle on his body. But we need a safety this year, dude. You know, I need a safety right now. I need you to be what Quinyon Mitchell was last year. I don't know if he's even close to that. Now, again, BLG brought up a good point this morning of, look, if he's back in 2 days, it's going to be a blip in the radar. If he's out for another week, yeah, it could be an issue, you know, and that's going to delay how quick he gets on the field. So we'll see. But, yeah, I mean, you know, Makuba banged up. Guy looks like he's 180 pounds soaking wet, and he's already hurt 3 days into camp. He's missed 2 practices now. I don't know what his status is today or what it will be tomorrow, but we will see. We will see.
I want to hear your opinion on this because I heard that on your show today. And boy, I'm sitting there. I'm writing notes down. The guy from ESPN was on with you.
Yeah, Mike Gill.
Mike Gill was on with you, and he said something. And I'm Xander. I'm writing shit down, and I heard him say something. And then I remember because what's his name said something too yesterday, and I'll get to what Mark Farzetta said. But Mike Gill said something that made me pause a little bit when he went like this. Yeah, that's a Howie sign. He showed up and there he was. And
Did you wait? You didn't hear Vic say that?
no, I did, but I didn't really weigh into like the guy weighed into it like that.
Yeah.
And I went, you know what? That was really great. There's two things. I mean, I missed two things, which is really rare for me. And I was like, he basically went like this. There he was. He showed up. I don't really know anything about the football player. Is that more about frustration? It sounded frustrating a little bit to me. That was more of a frustrating thing. That's a Howie sign. I don't know anything about the player. I never did any homework on him. I didn't know anything about him, and there he is. And I don't know. I mean, remember something. They took a lot of good football players off his team. And if you want to go further back, remember what he said about CJ's being whacked off the team? He went like this. Hey, that was a cat move. How he made it, and there it was. And you know what? We moved on. And then he added this going, here, this guy shows up. I mean, how he makes these calls, puts these players on his team. I'm wondering where Vic is in that, because that didn't sound like a positive ringing endorsement for a player that Howie put on the team. I took it that way. Did you?
I did. I mean, it definitely was. It definitely is how it came out. I mean, I told you I was talking about it when it happened live, and when I saw the quote, I'm like, oh man, he wants he wants Ringo to, or he wants Adoree to win the job. And then I went back and listened to it, and I'm like, holy shit, he doesn't like Adoree Jackson at all, But Howie gets his way, obviously. I think.
And by the way, let's underscore it. It's working. Okay, you're winning. So, I mean, the way they picked the team, it's winning. Look, I think Vic does this. Someone's asked in here saying, do you think Vic has an influence on the roster? This is how I think he does. He's looking for a profile. You remember when Mac McWilliams went like this? And it was such a small thing he said. Yeah, I played zone at UCF. Okay, well, now I know how he picks the guys. How he looks at a profile that Vic wants. Versatility, zone defense, multiple fronts. Vic don't give a shit what the name is on the back of the jersey. He only cares if that guy can play in that scheme.
That's true, but it didn't feel like he liked the guy that they got in Adoree Jackson.
That's right. He goes like, I wonder if he believes he can play in this scheme. And that's why he's pushing for Ringo to win it. Because you know what, to me, how that sounds? It sounds to me that he doesn't believe Adoree Jackson is going to be an answer out there, but he thinks that the kid Ringo gets more reps. Vic's not going to play a guy, Xander, just because of fucking shits and giggles.
I know. That we've learned for sure.
Okay, he wants it. So it sounded a little frustrating to me on some of the players because, again, he's dogging out. I mean, I think he's
yeah, but I think Slager's kind of right here. I was under the impression that Adoree was more of a zone guy than Ringo was. I mean, Ringo. Well, you could make the argument Ringo is not in the press. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ringo's kind of the guy that doesn't fit as well. I actually think Ringo would probably be better right now if he was in a different defense. I don't think he's a bad player, Ringo.
I want to bring listen, can't say that right now until we see more reps out of the kid. You think they're going to play these younger guys in the exhibition season or no?
I mean, I think they're going to play some of them. Is Jahad Campbell going to play?
Well, don't you want to know what he can do?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm with you, Sills, where it's like, are we allowed to bash them anymore on this? I don't think so, dude. They've been too healthy. They've been too healthy. So
no. But my question is, no. I get it.
I was just kind of getting excited because I'm like, oh, maybe there will be more players because you got so many young guns. Fucking defense is like the youngest defense in the league, dude. This is a young defense.
And really a very inexperienced defense. Do you agree with this comment? Vic values camp reps and practice reps, controlled scrimmages. This is how you make the team. This is how you make the roster, correct?
Yeah.
It's really not game stuff.
I think it's where you even more so. I don't know, because I think Howie's going to handle that. But it is where you earn your respect from Vic, or your belief from Vic that you can handle the job and get the playing time. So that's why I'm worried about Makuba. Not in the field, out of sight, out of mind.
Who sets the roster at the end of the day, Howie or Nick?
Howie.
Howie.
I think Howie.
I do too. I tried to explain to people the head coach sits at the head table. At the other head of the table is GM. You got your both coordinators sitting next to the head coach, and on each side of the table, guys make pitches. I want to keep 11 O linemen. I want to keep 70 linemen. Then at the end, you know what happens?
Yeah, right. It's definitely collaborative. It's not like Howie goes off in a lair.
No, but they make pitches. And then Howie makes the final call on who stays on.
I think Nick has the most say outside of Howie. Like, I think him and Howie sit down and talk it out.
End,
you know, hey, this is guy. Howie can make his guy. I want to keep this guy. Yes. But I do believe Howie probably's got the final say.
He does.
Like, if Howie's like, sorry, Nick, I'm not doing that, I think Howie's going to get his way. Because remember, Howie is the one who knows that better than Vic or Nick. Maybe there is an art to getting somebody through waivers and getting them back on the practice. Like, there is an art to bottom of the roster management, you know. So Howie's much better at that. Obviously, that's one of his things he does well. So I get it. I'm not using it as a knock on him, but I do think that's the setup.
Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Super chats go to the top. We'll read them at the end of the segment. I thought Farzetta brought something great up here. This was yesterday. Make sure you go back.
He was good on your show. He's always good on your show.
He is. You know, I thought he brought this up great. So you're right, Xander, about the defense is traditionally, by the way, some of you know that I'm doing a show in Tampa. The defense is killing that Tampa Bay Buccaneer offense. They brought every guy back, and they are killing him. You know who's looking great in camp? Guess who do you think is looking great in camp?
In Tampa?
Yeah.
Baker and Emeka Ibuka.
Hassan Reddick.
Really? Well, I mean, Hassan Reddick's got talent, man. Hassan Reddick's biggest problem
is the strudel.
Exactly.
It's the strudel.
Exactly.
That's what I said.
I never heard it called. I never heard it referred to as the strudel.
It's the fucking strudel. That's what I said. I go, this guy doesn't have a problem with anything but the strudel.
It's not talent. The guy's got talent. I mean, I watched him dominate, man, when he was here. So,
hey, did you hear Pete Carroll glazing over Devin White?
Oh, good. Let's see how that one goes.
No, I was kind of like, holy shit. He's like, this guy's back to being what he was the second year. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, let's take a look. So let me get to what Farzi said. So, bro, he's kind of right. How in the world could that defense with so many inexperienced players be ahead of the offense?
What do you mean? Because defenses always start ahead of offenses. That's
that offense?
Yeah. It's a
with
new coordinator,
Brown,
They're trying to do different things. I'm not buying into that bullshit for one fucking second.
Those guys don't even know where to fucking line up.
Dude, I don't give a shit, man. The offense is doing different things. You think you're gonna bully me into being concerned about this offense July 30th?
I didn't say concerned. I said, how can that team, that defense with 5 new dudes and open jobs, as Vic says, everywhere,
I'll tell
be
you,
ahead of a team that has the most experienced offensive line, the most experienced wide receiving group, the most experienced quarterback, and the best back in the game? How could they even be remotely ahead? They are winning the day, by the way, the defense.
Because every single defensive coach, which is hard to believe, by the way, every single defensive coach off the number 1 defense in football last year has returned. The line coach, the corner coach, the secondary coach, the edge rushing coach, the coordinator. So they're installing the same. Everything installed is the same. And your core guys are the same as well. You're plugging in new pieces there versus a new coach, a new quarterbacks coach, a new pass game coordinator, a new offensive coordinator. And you're trying to evolve.
So AJ's going against Keely Ringo, and you're trying to tell me that Keely Ringo is shutting down.
Yeah, but if you listen to the reports, the individuals are having good camps. It's still taking time for them to come together as a cohesive unit right now. And yeah, maybe, but I'm not going to fucking sit here July 30th and get my panties in a bind about it. I do believe the defense is more ahead than where we thought because of the coaches, not because of the young players, not because of people being better than we thought, but because of the system that they're being slotted into versus the offense, it's more of an open book right now. What do we want to do? Do we want to get this in the offense? Do we want to try and run more of these plays this year? Do we want to pass the ball more? If we do have to pass the ball, what's our contingency plans look like? The other factor is Devontae Smith's missed the last 2 days with pads on. So you are looking at, I don't, what's that dude's name that they were talking about? This big dude who keeps making catches. I don't know, Johnny Wilson and Anais Smith and Jahan Dotson. I mean, I'm not that fucking worried, Sileo.
Not worried either.
Yeah,
I use the word focus. That's the word of the day. By the way, to your point, they're using 11 personnel more. So they're practicing throwing the ball more, which means, once again, they're just a little inconsistent right now throwing the football as they're working on stuff.
No.
Oh, yes.
Wait.
You just said the defense was ahead of the fucking offense.
Wait a second.
So the offense is a little inconsistent. Why? Because the quarterback's throwing the ball.
The offense wasn't really – they weren't really
go.
inconsistent last year. That wasn't really the problem.
Oh, I forgot being 30th. You're right. They're not inconsistent.
Well, no, it was a volume problem. They did.
Oh.
Remember, they had the second least attempts in the league. Now, I'm not saying that it couldn't be improved, but I'm saying I don't think you looked at the passing game and said, man, it's because it's so damn streaky. Was it streaky at times? Absolutely. That's called football, everybody. Week in and week out, it's not going to look the same no matter who you're talking about. But that wasn't the problem last year, Big Silly.
Well, I tell you what. So now they're practicing 11 personnel. You hear Vic saying that I can't even get in the base. And the offense is a little inconsistent. Why would that be? Xander just said it. The defense is ahead of the offense because why? They're attempting to throw the ball more. I got it now. Thank you for the intel, Xander.
Bullshit.
Now I got it.
That is such a bullshit.
Wait, you just fucking said all that. The defense is ahead of the offense. They're throwing the ball more. They're in 11 personnel. They're trying to figure it out. And the defense is right now outplaying the offense.
Dude, they've been sipping mojitos for a couple months, dude. They're fucking a little bit rusty. If you didn't have a show for all of June and July and you came back, you think you'd be operating at maximum efficiency?
I would be Big Sills whether I fucking took a month off.
You'd sound like the radio sills for a couple days until you got those feet wet. Come on, Big Silly.
Come on, man. You just and I see. You know what, folks? We asked him. The defense today. He goes, no. Defense is always not going to be ahead.
Oh my gosh, this is baloney.
Well, they're throwing the football. Hey, look. If you say something, and then the other thing is they're throwing the football more, and they're inconsistent, and they're trying new things in the passing game. Now I got it. Now I know why the team's a little bit. What should we say? Wobbly. Are you surprised?
No. They're fucking working on shit in practice.
Okay.
What are you, Ellie Polly Spitzer Shore Parks? Seriously, dude, they're working on things.
Working on things.
Yes.
What things is that?
Well, nobody's allowed to fucking touch the running backs anyway. Right. I mean, they're working on passing the ball.
Hey, let me throw this out here. Listen, we've been saying this since day one about, last year we made this comment about Q and Cooper. You're going against A.J. Brown, bro, and you're going against Devontae Smith. They don't give you an education like you're going to Harvard, bro. You know what I mean? So how do you know what you have at edge when you're getting the shit kicked out of you by Marlotta?
Well, that's part of the thing that's harder to evaluate. I mean,
so don't you think you need to play these guys in the exhibition season to see kind of what they are?
No, but these are the guys these are the three guys in Eagles camp out of all the guys we named on the roster and all the practice squad guys and all the second and third team. There's three guys that have a miserable training camp, no matter what they do. There's three guys. Can you name them?
Yeah. Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt.
One more.
Ojolari.
Nope. Keely Ringo. Going up against A.J. Brown. You got to fucking block. You got to go up against Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, and A.J. Brown. I don't give a shit how much work you put in the offseason. You're going to have a shitty camp, son. You're going to get pissed off. You're going to get agitated. You're going to be sweaty and nasty and gross, and you're not going to be successful at all.
And you're going to think you suck.
Yes.
Okay? I mean, dude.
It's just the truth. And look, I love that because I believe that's what makes the great college organizations great. Is that when you go up against those dudes in practice, the games feel like a freaking day off, man. You're telling, wait a second. Let's go look. Eagles schedule. All right. Who's the Cowboys left tackle?
That guy, that Tyler Guyton guy.
Yeah, and he doesn't even know if he's playing. So you're looking at, all right. What's Jalen Hunt going to have an easier day? At practice versus Jordan Mailata or against that dude? Who's their right tackle? Okay. Are you going to have a tougher day versus Lane Johnson or that guy? They're going to walk outside. Hey, they're going to walk up to those games and be like, "Oh, you guys are fucked."
Let me show you.
You guys are fucked. I had to learn against Lane Johnson all summer, man. You're toast.
Let me give you on the college level here. Jimmy Johnson used to have a thing called inside drill, and I'm going against 6 first-round picks on offense, and they're going against 6 first-round picks on defense. Bro, when we got into the Saturday games, we were fucking annihilating teams because we were going against guys who were going to play in the National Football League in 6 months.
And then, exactly. and then you line up, versus Bowling Green or whoever the hell you line.
Right.
And, I mean, it's a joke.
Dude, backups were Cortez Kennedy and Russell Maryland. Our second team guys were those dudes.
Who is, even the Bucs right now, like those first 4 games, who's the Chiefs offensive line? They normally have a good offensive line, but are they a little
They lost that Tune guy.
Yeah, they lost Tooney. Who's their left tackle this year? I know they had the backup in the Super Bowl.
They got Smith. They put Smith. They just signed him to that contract.
Yeah, like they're not better than Lane and Jordan. Actually, nobody. I don't think there's a better tackle tandem in football than those two. So Nolan Smith and Jalix, just stay with it. Keep grinding, keep growing, keep learning ways that you can try and get around those dudes. I doubt you find many avenues to the quarterback around Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. But one thing I can guarantee from that is, I don't know how good, but it will make you better.
Oh,
I can 100% guarantee it. Now, that's not to say what you can
make you smarter too.
Right, but I guarantee you it will make you at least 1% better. And that's what's going to happen day in and day out. I mean, even Nolan, John said it. He's been pissed because he's just like, I don't feel like I'm getting better. And I'm like,
you are getting better.
Yeah, you're going up against Lane Johnson.
That's right.
You better believe you don't feel like you're not getting better. You're getting stonewalled. You were just dominating the playoffs last year. You come into training camp, you can't sniff the quarterback.
So last year you were 2-2 and Super Bowl champions. Will the first 4 games this year be the same, different, or better?
So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about exactly this. First 4 games, what do we do? And Cowboys,
Chiefs, Rams, Bucks.
Right, and I want to find.
Denver's after that too.
Let me see, because I know I put in my notes my win losses. Where did I put that shit, man?
It's Denver game 5, right?
I just wanted to put what I had. I think I had 3-1 when I did my win-loss. But still, as I'm looking at these 4, I think we go 4-0. I don't think the Cowboys can stay in the room with us. I think the Chiefs will take a step back and will struggle in that game. While it is an Arrowhead and it is a tough battle for the Birds, but you play the Cowboys, you get a mini bye right out of the gate. I think the Eagles beat the Chiefs. Rams coming to Philly. It's a 1 p.m. game. That actually favors the Rams because you get a daytime game in the sun in Philly, and when it's still warm out early September or mid-September, that favors the Rams. But I'm sorry, I'm not picking that team to beat the Birds. And then the Buccaneers, we don't even know if Tristan Wirfs is going to play. They got some new setup over there. So I got 4-0.
Obviously, you have 8-0 going into the bye.
That would be until the Giants. Oh, man. Broncos could be a tough game.
Is that home?
Yeah, Keith, I'm trying to figure that out now, too. because I've altered a little bit off what my original win projection was because I don't see where I'm going to come up with 4
it's
losses.
home. Denver's home.
Denver's home. I don't actually think they're going to beat us, but 8-0 going into the bye would be pretty impressive. Nell says we're going to run the table. Holy shit.
So you're going undefeated.
We might go 20-0 this year.
Okay.
Look at this asshole. Camel Keese. This dickhead flexes his muscles on the top of a damn camel. And then he comes in here and tries to tell me that our Philadelphia Eagles are going to lose to the Bucs and the Rams. Keese, I love you, brother, but that is a fucking horrendous take.
How could that be a bad take when they've beaten you 2 years in a row?
The shittiest take I might have ever heard in my life.
It can't be a shitty take when you haven't beaten them. You haven't beaten them.
And he does it from the top of a camel.
No, the camel thing is stupid, but I will give you that. Okay, but
Keese, take the day off, kid.
hey,
Not your best work right there.
but I mean, that Buck, I'm with you on the worst thing, though. I just, boy, if that guy's not ready for the Eagle game, that's going to be a rough one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be the only game I would be a little bit concerned about would be this. I don't think you have a better coaching staff than the Kansas City Chiefs. Not saying the Kansas City Chiefs have a better coaching staff than you, but I think they have more experience and more wins, and they have more championship pedigree than you do. So I would say Kansas City probably has the edge in that in coaching. Would you not agree? I mean, you got 2 coaches with 8 rings on both sides of the ball. Now, you took them out, and you're 1-1 in Super Bowls right now, and you got a completely different football team, at least on the defensive side. So how you feel about going into that KC game? With the cornerback and safety play the way it is right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's Mahomes.
Honestly, you can blame yourself for this one because you kind of got me on the mindset of like,
yeah, run
the Chiefs could be on their way down for a couple years.
Right.
So and John's in agreement a little bit. So listening.
You know what? But if they're going to be good, I think they're going to be good early. I think they'll get worn out late because they don't have the depth and they're older players. If the Chiefs are going to be good, Xander.
What did you say? Did I miss what you said while I'm reading some other shit? What this guy don't agree with that shit, Z. What did you say?
Who knows?
What did I just agree to?
Anything I say, people disagree with. So
what the fuck did I just agree to?
People just like to fucking argue and cry.
A mindless agreement.
A lot of fucking
you gotta be kidding me, man.
A lot of crying. Let's get to some of these supers, bro.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's go to my main man. The man, the myth, the legend.
By the way, battle royales around the corner.
He is now famous in the JAKIB verse, and that is none other than the great Leon Banks. What up, Leon? Let's go.
Hey, Leon, I got to tell you, I got a lot of people on my X account concerned about you and your love life. I had a lot of, I'm not really one to be fucking handing out fucking, but man. Leon, you got Joy's attention.
Yeah, Leon, you need some advice. You hit me up, all right? I got the prom queen. I got the dinners made. I got the laundry folded. I got the lover. I got everything, Leon. You need some advice, Leon. You give me a ring, my guy.
Hey, Leon, you want a signed picture of Joy? I'll hook you up there, man. The guy can sit in your room all night and
don't get him that, man. then you'll turn him into a gooner. Leon says, Zay, for $350K, you got to play running back for the Eagles. $350K is fucking light, my guy. Let me get up that number a little bit. You have to have 10 carries versus Baltimore. How many yards you getting? I'll say 10 carries, 4 yards. Give me 10 carries. 22 yards.
Holy cow! Big Z, 10 carries, 22 yards. Oh,
are you kidding me, Leon?
10 carries, 22 yards.
Yeah,
hey, Leon.
Don't even think about texting me, Leon, after that shitty ass take.
Hey, Leon, 2.2 yards a carry. There you go, baby.
That would be better than maybe Will Shipley would get.
Oh, man.
I'm messing everybody who doesn't know how to take a joke for crying out loud. Look at Alexander talking crazy. All right, Abe.
Really? Hey, thank you, man.
Welcome to a hypothetical that'll never happen. Kimberly says, this conversation is why I'm concerned at cornerback. Kimberly, you got a little bit of Sileo in you where you're just inherently concerned. I mean, I know you were waiting for the collapse last season. You know, you got a little bit of Sileo in you.
You see
let
that, Kim?
Let those Sileo eyes gummies wear off.
Hey, Kim, everybody's now a little bit concerned about Keely Bingo. And all of a sudden, you know, they're going to hang on those takes. And boy, I tell you, I feel like Shohei fucking Ohtani already, baby. I got a good year coming here, baby. You bet. Hey, unlike Mark, by the way, I got to hand it to Mark. He's in the green room, folks. So he's ready for you guys. He's got his hand on his forehead already. And after all the injuries in Dallas, woo, baby.
I'll tell you what, if I had that Dallas O-line I was running behind, I'd probably get negative 22 yards.
Dude, I tell you what.
Look at Hogan. He says I'd get negative yards after Hurts fumbles the handoff.
Oh, my God. Wait, who has a better O-line than the Cowboys? You ready? University of Lehigh.
Wait, I'll tell you why I said 22. Well, I'll tell you why I said 22.
Why did you say so? 10 carries, 22 yards.
I know Saquon's a lot faster than me, but he had 3.8 yards a carry before contact last year.
Yeah, so that's what.
Can I get 1.6 and muscle my way another 0.6? Come on, man! I got it in me. It's about the heart.
Wait a minute here.
It's about the heart.
Wait a minute here. Think about this. If you fell right after contact, you'd have 3.8.
Yeah. Well, I'm not as fast as Saquon, so I'm not getting there.
40 yards.
I'm not getting a 3.8. I'm getting a 2.2. This is why I said my number. All right.
22.
And then I'm calling Roseman at the end of it, Leon, and I'm getting a bonus because that's some good work right there.
And then, folks, they're taking a fucking gurney out there and taking them off the field.
I'll be in the hospital for the next year. Chris says, I still believe we need to add a veteran edge for depth and hopefully a Samuel and Simmons. I feel a lot better going into the season.
I'll tell you what, man, the edge thing, you don't need it. I've been telling you since this, you didn't need a superior pass rushing edge. These guys just have to set the edge for Vic. Don't worry about that other shit, man. You don't need a Trey Hendrickson. You don't need that. For what, Xander? The guy had 17 and a half sacks.
We're not going for him. I mean, I think he's saying, I don't know, Simmons and Sam. I don't know who he's saying. Chris, I appreciate it. I appreciate the membership, bro. 8 months. Thank you, bro, for being here. Chris, you know we love you. Thank you, man. Brian says, what up, B-Pump? He says, told you casuals. My seventh heaven is freaking elite. You bums cannot keep up with elite ball knower B-Pumper.
Is he talking about Keely?
He's talking about Keely Ringo.
Hey, you know what Keely Ringo is? He's a dude that's got a twitch. He looks like he's got epilepsy like this. Watch. That guy's running by him.
No, he's not. Dude, you're making that shit up. You're making that shit up.
The guy's got Tourette's.
Pumper, you're slowly pulling me in, Pump. Let's see. Kyle Kokorski says, I just realized the first month all the teams we are playing have one thing in common.
Great quarterback.
Questionable offensive line.
Yeah. And one thing they all have in common. Questions at the corner and safe.
Lamar says, are the Eagles top 5 in every position in the NFC? I don't know. I can't do that off the top of
on
my head.
Offense. Defensive tackle?
Probably not at like safety.
Linebacker, maybe.
Linebacker, they definitely are.
Your boy Nicobe's on the way out, dog.
I think that's all of them.
Hey, Nicobe's on the way out. All right.
I know he is. There's just not. It's bleak for him, unfortunately. Yeah. I like him too. It's a problem.
You know, when you go on a date, like, get this, me, you, and Philly 500, and then there's Mark. There's 3 chicks in the room. Sorry, Mark, you're on.
I'm used to being the winner in that scenario.
Yeah, Big Z. We'll catch you later on. By the way, show tomorrow later, right?
Later. I'll be live in the morning though, because what could I do without the great people of JAKIB Nation at 8 in the morning? I'll be there live. So we'll talk to John a little bit in the morning, and then we'll have the after practice coverage as well.
You got it. All right, Big Z. We'll catch you later on, brother.
Thank you, brother.
All right, man. Make sure you guys catch it out. All right. So, you know, I text Mark and he goes, yeah, Sure. I was like, dude, it's got to be bad in Dallas when you got the owner taking a shit. Now, what did he do to the corner? Did he deduct him $500,000? Oh my, because he didn't work out in Dallas? What are you doing? Then you're telling your guys, hey, just because we have him, we don't have him. We're not sure to have him. Then he's throwing shade on Dak. This is the offensive line's getting banged up. Man, I give this guy a lot of credit. He's like walking to the electric chair for us, and I appreciate him doing this. But then there's Philly. Hey, get this. Keely Bingo. Woo! How about the safety position? So let me get this right before I bring my fellas in. You drafted a 3rd, a 2. You got rid of Gardner Johnson. This guy, Kenyon Green's not going to make the football team. And the problem that you have right now is at the safety position. I'm more convinced that you're going to cover a Jomo with Milton, and also on the other side, I think you're going to get it done with Jalix Hunt and Josh Sweat. I'm more concerned. You really think that Keely Ringo is an upgrade from Slay and Isaiah Rodgers to Keely Ringo and Mac Williams? Questions to be answered. And without further ado, we bring our guys in. The man from the Dallas Cowboys, who, boy, I'll tell you what, they make news every day. He is the great Mark Holmes. And without further ado, we bring in the champ, Philly 500. Here he is right here, man. Hello, fellas. How you guys doing, man?
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
All right, Mark, your overall takeaway so far, without me polluting a question towards you, don't look so pissed off. Every time you come on this fucking show, you look pissed off all the time. So let me ask you, man, your first week of practice, your takeaways have been what with your Cowboys?
Chicks dig the deep ball. And right now, we are going to be able to get deep with CD and George Pickens. They are the real deal. Donovan EZ is going to be a great pass rusher. And Jerry and Stephen Jones are freaking ass.
Okay. Philly, your assessment under the first 5 days of practice, you had first full day of pads. Your takeaways after the first week.
Well, before I say that, I got to say I really enjoyed Mark's video about how Ezra Raku is going to be better than Abdul Carter. I thought that was wishful thinking at best.
How different is that than some of the shit that we get from talking him?
Well, that's like the Parsons is already better than Lawrence Taylor thing you tried to throw on everybody a few years ago.
It got to watch, so there's that.
I thought that was pretty funny. As far as the Eagles training camp, I think, I think there's some really good things going on. I think like Moro Jomo, I think Hunt, I think the defensive line is going to be good. I think they're going to be fine. But, Jahad Campbell, it sounds like this guy's a stud, okay, from everything we're hearing. I mean, Jeremiah Trotter is having a good camp, Sills, and this kid is even flashing above him. But I do think there are two legitimate concerns that have emerged that we've got to figure it out. To me, more so safety than anything else. I think safety is the biggest question mark right now going forward.
Okay, well, let me ask you something here about the safety position, like you just said. Or let me go corner here, and I want to ask you about Howie Roseman and Vic Fangio. And Vic said something that was kind of eye-opening here. He went just like this. He said, Howie brought the guy in. I don't know anything about the guy, and I don't really pay attention to the guy. And there he is. I don't know who the guy is. Basically made me feel like, Howie brings these guys in and signs them without even giving me any kind of intel of who he is, because he said this: I don't really know anything about the player. I mean, was that kind of a shot a little bit across the bow of frustration? I thought it was a little bit frustrating that he put a guy on his roster and put a guy on his football team that he really doesn't have any intention playing, it sounds, because Either that was hard love, Philly, that was either hard love, or I thought that was a little frustrating.
Well, I mean, this is something we've heard that Howie has done in the past. This is nothing new. He will oftentimes he will take and he will seek out Vic Fangio's advice of what he's looking for and stuff. I mean, we all know that Vic was very happy and was very into getting Jahad Campbell in the draft. But I mean, if you look at the defensive end that they got from the Jets and traded to the Niners, he stinks. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Bryce Huff was not a Vic Fangio guy. He was a Howie guy. So Howie will make moves on his own if he feels necessary. That's just something that he does. So this has always been the case with Howie. Fortunately, for the most part, it's worked. 2 Super Bowls in 3 years.
It's worked. There's no doubt. That's that way of doing business. Mark, let me throw this. What's going on? So Stephen Jones, Trayvon Diggs, $500,000 salary reduction, and for him not working out in Dallas, I mean, well, let me, before we rip it or not rip it, are they trying to instill a little bit more discipline with guys where they want to have guys in the building? Because look at the Eagle guys. The Eagle guys are all there working out together. They're a unit that work together. Is that something that they're trying to do?
Well, definitely. First of all, let me apologize. I'm actually on vacation, and so we're having a hell of a thunderstorm out there.
I got you. All good, brother.
If you're seeing flashing and stuff, I mean, it's coming down cats and dogs right now.
Thank you for doing this, bro.
I thought Mark was
here's something that's interesting. Before I get into Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones finding Diggs, I think is definitely, this is his last year. And this is the last year where it's big money. There's an out next year. They weren't happy with his recovery work, and they said that he didn't work as hard as they thought he should have last year getting on the field. And they think that ended up leading to the issues that he had this year. And they wanted him to work with the facilities and the trainers to make sure that he busted his ass. But here's something that was interesting that just happened just a few minutes ago. There was another fight in practice, okay? And we know how it is. Nobody wants to practice in summertime and stuff. And guys are fighting for their lives and everything else. And so you get heated. Brian Schottenheimer kicked the guy out, and he's literally got them running sprints on the side, sideline to sidelines and stuff to make up for this thing. He is literally really trying to instill discipline and let you know, I'm your best friend, but when you F up, you're going to have ramifications for those things. And I'm going to say that the Cowboys are trying to turn the page and create a better culture. The only problem is the culture at the top is doing the same stupid shit that they've done before. They're trying to say, we want you to be accountable and working out and this, that, and the other, but they're not holding themselves accountable for their mistakes and shortcomings too. So it's really kind of talking out of both sides of your neck.
How about this though, too, Mark? There's real conversation about Saban joining the Cowboys. This is becoming more of a conversation here. And here's where he would have the advantage in the draft. Remember something, just like with Pete Carroll and Jimmy Johnson and any coach that goes from the college ranks, what's the number one advantage you have? Is that you know where all these guys have been recruited. You know all the younger guys. You know how they would be in the draft. Okay, and what's the most important thing he did down in Alabama is hiring a coaching staff and getting a coaching staff in there. You're smiling. You're not buying it.
Saban's coming in as what?
Here's what's crazy.
That would be the question, too.
You know what? I'm going to put this in here with you bringing in Dion and Sador Sanders, okay? There's always some crazy shit about
movie
next guy coming in. It's going to be Dion, and they're going to draft Sador, and they're going to move on from Dak Prescott. If I had $1 for every one of those, I'd have a couple $100 at least. So,
and you might have a championship a lot sooner, too.
Well, here's what I know, okay? The Joneses don't want to pay somebody not to coach.
That's
so
right.
They will hold on to somebody just to go ahead and say, I spent all my money on that guy. So it's figuring that he's going to be out one and done. I don't think that would happen.
All right, let me go to you now, Philly. Let me ask you this, because Farzetta brought this up yesterday, and you responded to this, and nobody has been able to answer one of our questions here. So let me say this. First and foremost, let's start with Kevin Patullo, and I'm going to go here. So you have 5 new-looking faces on defense, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You have a bunch of question marks. Not that they're bad players, but still, you want to know if Nolan's going to play a full year. You've got to see if Moro Jomo's had a great camp, is going to play all year long and cover those 1,100 reps. But bunch of question marks in the secondary. Okay, explain this to me then. How is that defense ahead of that offense with all those personnel guys that you have that are first-round picks, the best players in the draft, the best players in the league? How is that inexperienced defense ahead of the offense? Now, I get it. First start of camp, defense is always ahead. But that offense, how is that offense ahead? Is it Kevin Patullo?
Obviously, it's Kevin Patullo. He stinks, Sills. I mean, what else could it be, right?
No, you're going.
I don't know.
You went off the cliff. I'm asking you, how can that defense with all those question marks?
It's very hard. You know, it's very hard to sit there and you talk about a team that is basically a run-first team going into these practices where you're not hitting, you're not running the ball, your offensive line, you're not tackling, you're not doing any of those things. I just think it's very hard to judge. I think the way they practice nowadays, it favors the defense a lot of times. We hear a lot of things from practice coming out, and they're not 11 on 11s. They're in drills sometimes. So this guy did it, beat this guy. And it's like one-on-one drills. I just think that it's very hard to judge after the first 2 weeks. Now, maybe there will be issues. I don't know. But I don't think that it's something that we should really worry about to this point right now.
Okay, well, to this point, follow me too, Mark, on this, because it's going to be interesting, I think, how you answer this. They've been in 11 personnel the majority of the camp. Vic said it the other day. We haven't been able to play in any base. So what they're doing is, in your opinion, they're working on the passing game. Is that correct?
Yeah, I probably think so, yeah. Okay. It's easier to work in the passing game, Sills. You're not going to work on the run game when you can't hit and there's no live hitting. I think it's very hard to work on the running game in that situation.
They're working on the passing game, which means they're throwing the ball more, and yet the defense is ahead of them because the offense is wobbling because they're throwing the football. Interesting. So, again, my point would be this. Okay, so they're trying to throw the ball, and yet they're not being consistent in the passing game during training camp versus a very inexperienced defense. Is that correct? That's what you just said.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Wait, with all-world Jalen Hurts, the greatest quarterback of all time, and with all of that, you're telling me that they're having problems?
Hey, look, we could talk about problems. I got clip after clip of Dak Prescott interceptions in camp. So let's forget about that. But here's the thing.
Of course, that's Cowboys. We know we suck. You're the
well, that's true. You do suck.
Shit up there. And you're telling me that Jalen Hurts and the offense is struggling?
Guess what, Mark? Guess what? I'm going to tell you something very, very very big. Here's something that you might not know. It's practice. That's when you want to throw. That's when you want to have problems, not during the season.
So if Dak throws an interception in practice, he sucks. When your guy does, it's just practice, and that's when you want to. I'm sorry. You're talking out of both sides of your neck there, buddy. Both sides.
Dak is a problem when he chokes in the playoffs. That's when he's. That's why.
Don't sweat, man. Don't let us see you sweat.
But here, Mark, to you,
sweat. I got a ring.
What he just, by the way, true. What he just said, though, I'm gonna bring this to you, and first I'll ask you, and then I'll go to Philly on this. So they don't play their players in the exhibition season. That's not what they do. They use the controlled scrimmages, and they use practice, to what he just said, and they use camp to evaluate players to figure out who's the starter is. So when people go like this in Philly, that, hey, guess what? Okay, it's only practice. Well, that's how you're picking your fucking team. You're picking your team out of practice because you don't use the exhibition season. You don't play the guys. That, by the way, it's working. So when practice, don't you agree, Philly?
Wait,
practice,
it's what?
practice in Philly.
But it's what, Sills?
It's working. But no. But my point is, you're belittling practice when they don't.
No, I'm not belittling practice. What I'm saying to you is that if you're going to have mistakes, if you're going to have things happen, let it happen in practice. That's what's most important. To me, it's impossible to know what the offense is working on, what specific things.
Me too.
And how, when the defense is watching the offense run the same plays, practice the same things, sometimes they get tipped off a little bit to what's going on too. I just think that after 2 weeks of camp, it's just a little too hard to push the panic button. That's all I'm saying.
But can I ask a question?
Sure.
So let me see if I get this straight. So are we saying that the Eagles' offense is struggling going against a secondary?
I wouldn't use the
word secondary that's struggling too.
Wait a minute, Mark. I wouldn't use the word struggling. I would use the word inconsistent.
Okay. Against a secondary that's suspect.
You don't know what they're putting in. They got a brand new coordinator.
I think two areas that are suspect: safety and corner.
Okay. All right. I'm just asking for a friend.
Hey, didn't Trey Hendrickson, didn't he report today to camp? Because the negotiations are going so well. So he's about to get a big payday as your boy Micah Parsons
trying
on
to
his ass.
Restart the negotiations because here's the reality.
He's going to get paid before
$50,000 a day. Just say no Terry McLaurin. They haven't gotten a deal done on those either.
He's going to get paid
$50,000 a day.
Hendrickson going to get paid before Micah.
How about this though, Mark?
Yeah.
According to Micah Parsons and his people, he's saying that the contract, and I wrote it down, and he's saying that the contract negotiations with the Cowboys is walking backwards. They're going backwards. They're not getting any closer to any kind of deal. Is that media talk? Is that media talk?
That was Adam Schefter that came out with that.
Okay. So it's media talk. You think they're closer than what the media is reporting?
If you want to know the truth, here's what was really interesting was I went back to last year with Micah Parsons basically saying when CeeDee Lamb was holding out, we all understand the deal here. It's just a matter of time. CD will be there week 1. He'll be a Cowboy for life. And things got ugly last year. We talked about trading him and, the Joneses weren't going to pay him. They're going to make him go on the 5th-year option. All of a sudden, lo and behold, right after camp, which was, I think, the 16th of August, they finally got the deal done. Interestingly enough, on the 14th of August is when they got Zach Martin done. This is Jerry and Stephen Jones enjoying the limelight of everybody in the media kowtowing to them and watching their every move. It is freaking insane, but it's a soap opera. It's not about football.
How's Dak doing in camp?
Dak is looking good. Dak is moving well. There's no problems with the hamstring and things, and he is getting deep passes, deep with CD and George Pickens, which are now
maybe you should be concerned about the secondary.
Well, Philly, why don't you like Dak?
I don't dislike Dak. I actually think Cowboys. I don't like
the Dallas Cowboys.
I just do not like that he gets off the hook and gets excuses for every year when he shouldn't. If he was in Philly, Sills, you know it. If he was in Philly, do you think we would put up with that 10 years of losing? No. That's
with
all.
What you guys do to support your team and your quarterback, you're right. He would.
Wait a minute, Mark. I gotta say, Mark.
What we do to support
Mark. I gotta say it though, Mark. That guy Jalen Hurts still gets shit on.
He does,
even when he wins.
Yes, he does.
Okay, I mean, if Dak Prescott had done the things that with a team, if he had done the things that Jalen has accomplished, you would be talking about him being in the conversation with Troy Aikman.
Well, speaking of that, you notice his quote yesterday about fatigue. He got that from Jimmy Johnson, right?
I know he did.
That's
and Jimmy Johnson got it from George Patton. Just saying.
So cool.
Okay.
Are you really that worked up about a quote?
I'm just saying that
you really are worried. That really pissed you off, didn't it?
That really pissed you off. You Eagle fans, your obsession with the Dallas Cowboys and constantly trying to put us down. You won the Super Bowl. We are like a flea. You shouldn't be even concerned with us. But yet, here it is. I can go through on my channel right now and 30% of the fans in here are freaking Eagle fans here. You're looking for validation from the Dallas Cowboys.
No. What they're doing is they're responding to your 9 videos about the Eagles every day. You call the Eagles out, and then you go, "Oh my God, why are these Eagle fans coming on here?"
I don't listen.
Because you're doing Eagle videos.
Hold on. Listen, you just responded about me talking about Abdul Carter, right? I challenge you to find me a video other than Jalen Hurts was stealing Jimmy Johnson's quote. I ain't said.
You want me to go back on your channel and you want me to find all the videos that you talked about the Eagles? Is that what you're asking?
You don't register in my mind. I'm only here because Dan Sileo has never heard of Mark Holmes.
Excuse me. I couldn't tell you one Dak Prescott. I couldn't tell you one thing Dak Prescott has said in camp. And you're coming on here quoting talking about Jalen Hurts quotes. Whose head?
Hey, let me ask you this. Mark, are you more concerned about Dak this year or Brian Schottenheimer?
I feel good actually about Brian Schottenheimer.
Okay, why?
And Nick Sirianni wannabe.
You know what? I can actually listen to Brian Schottenheimer and not want to toss my Italian sub. Okay? He is actually legitimately a coach that you can actually believe into. You actually listen to him. First of all, he's actually explaining things to you that you can actually understand. And the players are buying into it. And that is thing number one. If the players don't believe in what you're teaching, you got no chance in hell. So the players, and this is where it's actually kind of interesting. And I wonder if this is Jerry and Stephen Jones playing psychology, because they're becoming the bad guys. Everybody's rallying behind Micah Parsons, and it's us versus the front office, i.e., like the movie Major League. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, and if they can put in the locker room a Jerry Jones in a bathing suit covered up with scraps, and every time they win one, they pull it off, I will literally die. But they are setting up where it is now becoming a team.
Wait, what, Billy? What's so funny here, man?
I'm just thinking, like, every time I come on with Mark, I come out of the show hating Dallas even more. Like, just when I think I can't hate that team,
but I'm doing my
job. He comes on and says stuff. I hate that team.
I am doing my job.
Oh my God! What?
This guy is so delusional, Sills. He makes 1,000 videos about the Eagles all the time. Everybody will tell you. And then he gets mad because the Eagle fans respond. Of course they're going to respond. Of course they are. And then he's like, "Oh, well, I didn't do nothing. He's so full of shit. It's not even funny.
Really? And you don't sit here and go, Mark Holmes said this.
I crush you all the time because you need it to happen. I have to keep you honest. That's my job on YouTube.
Wait, Philly. You tell me on a scale of 1 to 10. How important, like, watch this. Do you not agree, Philly, that the number one game on the schedule for the Cowboys this coming season will be the 2 Eagle games? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. For you, how important is the Eagle game or the Eagle Cowboys game on your schedule this year?
It's just like any other division game.
What to you would be the most important game that would tell you more about your football team? The Cowboys are going to have to say the Eagles, because I'll ask Mark this question. For you, on your schedule, what game will tell you all you need to know?
I really think that those two early games to me are going to tell me Chiefs and Rams, because everybody's saying the Rams are going to compete with us and they're going to, I think if we come out and beat that Rams at week 3, then I know, we're clearly the best team in the NFC. I know Detroit's good, and we'll deal with them when we deal with them. But I think those 2 games are important, because I think if the Eagles come out and they go 3-1, 4-0, I think the league is in trouble. If they're going to lose, they're going to lose early. That's what I think.
All right. For you, Mark, is the Eagle game the most important game? Is it going to be the Kansas City game later in the year, Detroit, Washington, maybe.
Okay.
What would you put? What would you put as the most important game in your schedule?
I'm going to say this, and this is going to sound convoluted. I can't even pronounce the word. But the Cowboys game against the Eagles could be a season maker, but it won't be a season breaker.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is if they come out week 1 and somehow beat the Eagles, the amount of momentum that it would give them, especially going against the Giants in week 2 and the Bears and Green Bay and the Jets, it will build some confidence knowing that there's going to be players that we're going to be getting later on, Overshown, Diggs, Savon Ravel and stuff that will actually start to get better before we get into that stretch. If we lose to the Eagles, which should happen, let's be real here. You guys have the much better team. You're coming off the Super Bowl and things. You still have the soft point of the schedule where you can start getting some momentum and things. But that's where, to me, it is a really key game. You've got to at least compete and not get blown out of the place.
I don't think week 1 game is ever the be-all, end-all. So, even though it's Cowboys, Eagles.
No, I think it's more important to them, like you said, than it is to you, though.
Yeah, I agree.
How about this, though? Do you tell me this? I asked Xander this earlier. Why will these first 4 games be any different than last year's 4 games? And you won a Super Bowl a year ago. Why are you going to try? I mean, do you think it'll be better? Last year you were 2-2 and you went on to win the Super Bowl. You've got more question marks on one side of the ball. But then again, you had the same kind of question marks heading into last year the same way when you were 2-2. What will be different this year versus last year?
Well, I think that the identity changed after that 4th game versus Tampa, right? They went in a bye week, they came out, and they started running the ball. I mean, listen, like why I'm not so concerned with Patullo is because I really think that people know what we are. We kind of know what we're going to do and what we are. And I think having that identity earlier should make it easier for us to have a better start. Now, I think the first 4 games, we got some tough games. But after you get through that, I think I think everything's pretty much winnable. So I think because of the identity that we have with this team, we know what we do well. I think that'll be the big difference maker.
So you could possibly see the Eagles being undefeated. Mark, that you got New York, you got Chicago, you got Green Bay. You feel you could be 3-1 after the first 4?
Yeah, I do. I think we actually have a real good chance of that. And, the funny thing is when you're looking at a schedule and stuff, right now you look at teams and say, oh, well, they're going to be good. But, there's always the turnover. Everybody's been talking about how great Minnesota is. Well, J.J. McCarthy, I remember I'm old enough to remember when they had actually an interception count on Dak Prescott in training camp. Right now, J.J. McCarthy is averaging about 5 interceptions a practice right now. And that team looks terrible. You got Ben Johnson with the Bears looking like they're a JV squad and things. So you don't know who's going to be good from one year to the next. Look at San Francisco from the year before to last year. So you just never know.
Is there one player that you've seen in camp that you think will have a breakout year this year?
Well, I don't know about breakout year because technically he's a rookie, but right now Donovan Easy is looking just incredible as a pass rusher. And I know we all focus in on like one play. You see one bad play about a guy, you say he's a bust and stuff. But consistently, he is coming out of the box and he is just looking phenomenal. And I'm going to tell you, a guy who had 15.5 sacks in last year in college, getting here in the NFL, having Micah Parsons on the other side once they finally get him there, will create a lot of mismatches. You're laughing and all that. We all know.
Wait. Let me ask you. Do you think
I like the kid?
Do you think you'll have a better tandem of edge rushers with that kid and Parsons than the Eagles will with Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith?
Yes.
Philly?
Without a doubt.
No.
He's going to say no to everything.
No, but I've said it consistently all season, Sills. What have I said? They're not going to miss a beat. Nolan Smith, he had a breakout in the playoffs. I really believe in Jalix Hunt. But to me, where I think the Eagles are going to really, be strong is I think that interior of that line is going to open up opportunities. Jordan Davis, look, say what you want about Jordan Davis, but he's in shape. He's taking more reps. And if he can improve his game even a little bit and get more snaps, I think that's a force with him and Jalen Carter. I do. So I like our line.
Couple last ones here for you guys. Okay, so we would agree with this then. Nakobe Dean is out because to me, you're gonna if Jahad Campbell starts the season at inside linebacker and he looks like everything that we're looking at, what he's gonna do in camp, and you got him next to Zach Bond.
Yeah,
I'm not taking that guy out, putting
No.
Dean back in there.
No. Do you see how big that guy is? He's a lot bigger than I thought he was.
Can I tell you this? Is this a crazy take? I think he could be maybe more productive than Zach Bond, and I'll tell you why. The focus is going to be on Zach Bond, dude. And, you know, he's going to get more of the single blocking than the more of the double teaming that you're going to get. And so they're going to be circling Zach Bond. You really don't know what you're going to get with this kid yet.
Yeah.
And he's an athlete. You get more versatility with those two dudes on the field than you do, I think, with Nakobe and Zach.
Yeah, I mean, I like Nakobe a lot, but I mean, first of all, Wednesday, we don't even know when he's coming back. So, you know, it could be a really hard situation. And like I said before, Trotter is having a really good camp as well. So they've got depth there. And I do wonder how it's going to change or play out when Nakobe comes back. That we'll have to wait and see.
So, Mark, you're telling me that Eagle fans come onto your channel and they go onto your network and take a shit on you? Is that why? Is that right?
They live here. I mean, like right now, I got Logan Motorsport. I got Philadelphia in here. I've got, I could just go down the line, man. You know, it's crazy, but it's okay, you know, because rule number one of social media is to get people to watch. And, you know, if Eagle fans want to come in here and take a dump on me and stuff, you know, I don't care if people laugh with me or laugh at me. As long as you're laughing, I'm doing my job.
Philly,
And
what?
I'm just happy that we're here with the opportunity to play against the world.
Oh, Philly, why?
I'm so full of it. He's so full of it. Dude,
why are you buying any of this?
Because I've known Mark too long. I've watched too many years of how he does things. He likes to put out the stuff. He'll do a video, Dak this, and then he takes like 2 minutes to shit on like the Eagles or Hurts. And then he gets offended when people respond. And he's like, oh, woe is me. He's full of it. I know his game.
Look, I'm smiling. I'm happy in things, man. What do you listen, I'm here. I bet you the comments are nothing but shitting on Mark Holmes on your channel right now.
Oh,
no.
And I'm still smiling. Look, I'm happy. I'm happy as can be. It don't bother me.
Really, I've learned one thing about you. Every time this guy comes on the channel, man, you fucking totally hate the Cowboys more when you leave this thing.
I can't. I'm just sitting there realizing I just hate that team more and more. Jerry's uglier. I hate Micah more. I hope Dak throws 90 interceptions.
You know why you hate us more there,
I just hate it because you
guys
guys stink and you think guy. No, because you're living it 30 years ago, and you guys remained 30 years ago, and time has passed you by.
When you're almost
championships 60, have passed you by.
When you're almost 60, you know, it's all part of your life and growing up, man.
I know. Well, it's not even so much you, but over half your fan base never seen your team in the NFC Championship game ever.
I didn't realize that Mark Holmes was part Italian. Well, he's got an Italian sub sandwich over there, and he's going like this, my Italian sub sandwich. It's glad to know that. Well, you know, I've got many family members in my family, Mark, that kind of resemble. They're big. They look like you. So, I mean, I'm glad to find out that you're part Italian here, man.
I thought he was taking a shot at me when he said that. I didn't.
Actually, that was a Jason Garrett quote, okay? Because he said, it'll make you throw out your Italian.
There's another one. There's another one. Jason Garrett.
All right.
Hey, guys. Jason Garrett. Now look, you hear their coach? Their coach thinks he's Nick Sirianni. The biggest Nick Sirianni wannabe I've ever heard in my life.
What are you talking about?
He's
not a punk ass.
We're competitive. We're gonna be competitive. We're gonna go bowling. We're gonna do this, and I'm breaking up fights. Get the hell out! You guys trying to sound like Nick Sirianni.
Oh, so what? You think he's copying Nick?
I think I think the Cowboys are trying to copy the Eagles 100%. Especially
you wish.
I know for a fact.
Okay,
just listen to him talk.
Mark, so how many
your GM? How about that?
Hey, how about you get Micah Parsons? I mean, this is a team can't even sign Micah Parsons. He's going into last year's contract. They don't even sign him. Why would we even put that team on the same level as the Eagles? Remember, this is a team.
Do they sign him by the end of camp?
No. No.
It'll be signed probably about.
This is a team. Still, do you remember a year ago when Mark said, "Oh, the Eagles are going to lose. They're going to lose. They can't win the playoffs. They got Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator." Do you remember that? Kellen Moore. That's the whole reason why Dak couldn't win the playoffs. What does Jalen do? Go and he wins the Super Bowl.
But
That's
let
all
me
I have
ask
to
you a
say,
question,
man. That's
though.
all I have to say.
Name what did Kellen Moore do that you can say, "Oh my God, thank God we got Kellen Moore." That he put a stamp on that team that said, "Oh my God, the innovation that Kellen Moore brought
To
here."
your point, wait a minute. He improved Saquon Barkley. He didn't improve her.
So he doesn't do anything for the Eagles, but he does everything to hurt Dak Prescott. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, he didn't do anything to improve Jalen Hurts.
What do you mean? He won a Super Bowl with him. How could you say that?
Add a 2,000-yard rusher.
Okay, and what else? Jalen Hurts still made plays. He still came up big when he had to. He might not have thrown 40 times, but he made
Mark, are you still going to die on that?
More important throws with 20.
Mark, are you still going to die on that hill that you think that Dak's better than Jalen?
Yes,
Guy's nuts.
Yes, I will.
See, my hate for Dallas just went up again.
There, still.
Hey,
you're up on there too. Okay.
I can't wait for this.
Dak Prescott. What are you going to do? What are you going to do when he doesn't deliver again? Is this going to be the year to say, Mark, all I want from Mark, everything would stop.
One last thing here.
It would all stop, Sills, if Mark just said this.
Mark.
Dak, you've got to step up big time.
Ended his career.
Okay. You know what? That's all I got to do to make it stop.
And he came up short in the playoffs.
Are you saying that if I say that right now, all this bullshit's going to stop?
If you say,
Dak
Prescott has to step up big time and be better than he has been because he's been part of the problem in the past.
100%.
I won't say nothing.
Dak Prescott has to definitely step up and be even better than what he has done in the past. Now, yes, that's it. I agree.
No, you have to give him some blame for the past playoff losses.
I have given him some blame for the past playoffs.
I've never heard it.
Get the wax out your ear, jackass.
My ears were open.
If he ended his career right now, Dak Prescott would be what in Dallas Cowboy history?
Tony Romo 2.0.
Is that good?
Well, some people think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't.
Would he be better than would he be better than Romo? I'm asking number wise. I don't know.
2 playoff wins, so you tell me. And their numbers are almost identical.
I think he's 3,500 yards away from Romo.
Yeah.
And how many more years?
14. Did Romo play like 12, 14 years like that?
Romo played 13 years with Dallas?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, remember, it was sitting on the bench. But
remember, though, he was a UDFA too, Philly.
Right.
So you have to he overachieved like a maniac in Dallas.
He's a choker.
And Dak was a 4th-round draft pick.
He's a choker. Dak's a choker. Dallas a choker.
Think about this. It's pretty interesting, man, that you think that Dallas didn't use a 1 on any of those guys. And those guys have thrown for 70,000 yards.
You know what the most tragic part of it is? That they didn't have to spend that capital on 1st-round draft picks or multiple ones on it. And instead of taking those years that were dirt cheap and going out in free agency, that they wasted it. That's the most tragic part.
That's true.
That's right. They wasted that equity.
You literally had Dak Prescott for $680,000 a year for 3 years and did nothing to go ahead and try.
Look what the Eagles did with a 2nd-round pick. I mean, get this.
There's your problem.
Philly, think about what the quarterback position has been the last, 6 years in Philly now. Get this. So they move off of Wentz. They move Wentz. Listen here, Mark. They move him to Indianapolis. Those draft picks, one of those picks is Jalen Carter that they got back in return. They've got Jalen Hurts on top of that too. And in that process, the 18th pick in 22, they used to get AJ coming back over. So, I mean, you just said, Mark, they utilize Hurts being a 2 and a 2nd rounder and draft picks and equity for them to be able to build their team around. And Dallas missed the boat there on that.
Without a doubt. But, hey, At least we're talked about.
Wow, that's great. Hey, Mark, enjoy your vacation. Tell the folks where they can find you, bro.
JAKIB Sports Report and every social media platform you can think of. And, of course, underneath Dan Sileo's foot here on Wednesdays at 4:30.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, I'm going to tell you, man, you two guys, I mean, no matter who it is, last week, by the way, I'm going to leave this with you.
Taylor.
You guys are killer, man. I'm going to say this to you, Philly. Did you see that video we had of Merrill Reese?
Yeah.
Merrill Reese got these. Get
cool.
this, Mark. So Merrill Reese he showed us the ring and all. And the great quote by Nick, whatever. It's okay. You know, the wings flop out and he's like doing that. I
love that. I love that.
It's like
Green Lantern, baby.
Hey, it's like Confucius Sirianni. You know, it's right there.
I like that ring.
Anyway, the cleats. Jalen Hurts walks up to Merrill Reese, the longtime boys. He's like the Brad Sham for the Cowboys, right? He signs down there. He goes, when no one else believed me, you were the only one to believe in me. Gave him a pair of these Jordans. Pretty cool, man. Really cool. That thing. Yeah.
And you know what Dak was doing at that time? He was riding a horsey. You see him riding a horsey in practice?
A horsey?
Yeah. Go horsey riding, Dak.
Tell folks where they can find you, Philly.
Just type in Philly 500, or you could even type in Mark Holmes because he's always playing me on his channel as well.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I love you guys. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man. You guys
Appreciate
are awesome.
it.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Great stuff as always, man. Absolutely, man. I give it to Mark. I give him a ton of credit. You know what? We must give that guy agita. And for all you Italians, and now that I found out that Mark's Italian, agita is like heartburn. Yeah, you know, I mean, you know who Mark looks like? Mark looks like my Uncle Rocky. My Uncle Rocky looks like Mark. Yeah, no, he's like, you know, great complexion. My Uncle Rocky used to look like that. And he goes, that's your uncle? I go, that's my grandpa. Yeah. Holy cow. Mark must have been a fast guy because Jerome Brown said this, Mark. I'll tell you this. Sileo, there's no way you're a white guy. White guys don't run that fast. Yeah. I go, I'm Italian. What do you want? How you doing? All right. I love both those guys, man. Make sure you check out Mark's channel. He is spectacular. And I'm sure there'll be 1,000 videos of all of you Eagle fans. And I'm sure he's going to come off the top rope in honor of Hulk Hogan. And he's going to kick your asses. All right, I got to pay some bills here. Folks, the number one injury law firm in all of America is Morgan & Morgan. That's right. With over $30 billion recovered. And remember, they do not get paid unless you win. Simple as that. Very simple. All you have to know is they're going to defend you and your family like no other. Do me a favor. If you're ever injured, this will be the easiest decision you ever make, and that is to go and find out how Morgan & Morgan can protect you with their thousands of attorneys across the country. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's FORthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Still's National Football Show, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys again for coming aboard, man. Okay? I mean, without a doubt, there's no question that the Eagles are running circles around the Cowboys. Here's a great example. Okay? Here's a great example. I mean, the Micah Parsons deal. When is the last time? Okay? When is the last time that the Eagles had a contract negotiation issue? When's the last time they had a problem with that? Can you guys remember? When's the last time the Eagles had a holdout for a contract? And I'm not talking about this second round thing that went around. Reddick, good one there. Good one. But guess what there, Yale? It really wasn't a holdout for more money because his contract wasn't up. He wanted it redone, remember? He wanted to get it redone, and he wanted a new deal. He wanted more money. Yeah, but wait a minute. His contract was not up. So there wasn't like a guy that legitimately was going to hold out because if I'm not mistaken, they fined him. The Jets fined him too. So T.O., okay, well, that's back. I mean, that's back in the early 2000s when we're talking about that. Right? So again, when's the last time they legitimately had a holdout? I mean, 2004 is what you're telling me? That's quite a bit of time here, man. Okay? Okay? I mean, that to me is, again, an issue that, you know, they've just not had a holdout, which means that they're running circles around them when it comes to negotiating contracts. Okay, so we're going to get back here, and I want to reset a topic here. Okay, I want to reset a topic. Is Vic Fangio getting frustrated with the roster he has now? With the roster of defensive players? I don't know if frustrated is the right word. I don't know if frustrated is the right. I got to come up with a better one. I'll tell you what. He took a rip at Adoree Jackson being on the team. He completely took it. Annoyed That's a better word. Annoyed. Why? He said, wait. Get this. You see this guy? He ignores his comments towards Adoree Jackson. Chris is ignoring the CJ Gardner comment and now the Adoree Jackson comment. You're ignoring it, right, Chris? Disgruntled? I don't think disgruntled. I like that word annoyed. Get this. So he's saying that I'm exaggerating, and you guys tell me if you think I'm wrong, okay? I didn't sign the guy. That's a Howie guy. I never knew the player. I really never watched the player. I never saw film on the player. Tennessee didn't give him a contract. They moved on from him. New York moved on from him. We got to find out who he is. I don't know anything. Okay. Hey, get this, Chris. I don't care what you say. You tell me, all of you, what you thought of him and his comments toward Adoree Jackson. Sills, this is my joke for all Cowboy fans. Last time they were relevant was the year I was born. I like it. I'm not wrong. Go back and listen. He didn't want Adoree Jackson on the team. Am I wrong? Get this. Hey, listen. You tell me. Did he want Adoree Jackson on the team? Yes or no? With his comments. Did he want Adoree Jackson on the team? Yes or no? No. No. Who else took it a different way than Chris? No. No. 100%. Shit, Chris. You're the only guy that heard it different. Damn, Chris. You're the only one that heard it. I'm not committed. Okay? So, what was the word that I liked? The word I liked, okay? The word I liked was annoyed. Now, how about this? Do you think Vic's annoyed by some of the talent that's on the team? Yes or no? Okay? Was he annoyed? Would you use that word? Is that the word? Okay? Is that the word? Annoyed. Okay, Yale? Give me a different one. Give me a different one. Knowing Vic, yes. I don't know what you heard then, Yale. Then you're with, what's his name? And you're not buying the fact that he said that's a Howie sign. I don't know. Annoyed's too strong. Okay. Give me a word. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Called the player out. Head scratcher. Unsettled. He's pushed. Okay, so, all right, Yale. So you're going to go down the line frustrated. I'll go with frustrated. So let me ask you this. Steven, would you apply that also being frustrated to maybe the safety position as well? He's a little frustrated Because let's be candid here. When you got rid of Gardner Johnson, okay, some of the comments that were made about Gardner Johnson, it wasn't really that much money. You didn't save that much cash. So do you think after how about this? I'm not saying that he's not happy where the unit is right now. That's not what I'm saying. Because you know what happens after the first week of practice? You start to see a little bit the team start to take shape. I got to tell you, I thought the defensive line was going to be more, I won't lie. I thought the defensive line was going to be more of an issue for me than the secondary was. You know, coming out of the first week, I feel better about the defensive line than I do about the secondary. Okay? I do. Vic turning that defense last year with 1 year guys on the team was a blessing and a curse for Vic. Now Howie will now get more 1 year rentals for Vic. So you think maybe, Martin, that's where the frustration comes in that, now look, there's personnel changes every year. We know that. There's 18% turnover pretty much on every single roster. Okay? So you're going to have 2 or 3 guys that are going to be off a football team. So you're going to have, like I said, about 18% turnover. Free agency has made it. That's why it's harder to build. Look, it is harder to go back to back. So let me take a look at something here. How many teams have gone back to back in the salary cap era? When was the first year of the salary cap? NFL salary cap. I'm sorry, I don't know this off the top of my head. Okay, NFL salary cap was implemented in 94. So let's say it started in 95 because that's when it started taking shape. So since 1995, how many teams, NFL Super Bowl teams list? Okay, so since 1995, how many football teams during the salary cap era, and if you really want to do it and you really want to go down the line here with this, 95, 96, 97, when you started to really take shape, but we'll start it in 95, not 4. So let's see. How many teams have gone back to back? The Broncos in 98, 99, 1. New England in 04 and 05. Kansas City in 23 and 24. So since the salary cap era, there's been 3 teams that have gone and won back-to-back. Now, you're right on Seattle. And I'm talking about winning. You're right. I should use the list on teams that have gone back-to-back, even though if they didn't win it. Okay, you're right. Let's do it from 95 on teams that went back-to-back, even though they may have lost it, and how common this is. Okay, so Denver, New England, Seattle, like you guys said, New England again, 18 and 19. Kansas City, 5 teams have gone back to back since the salary cap era was implemented. since 1994. So let's take a look at that there. So since 94, there's been 5 football teams that have gone back-to-back. And really, if you look at it, in the last 20, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, since New England, since 2005, we'll go since 2005, how many teams have gone back-to-back? Seattle, New England, Kansas City. 3 teams in 20 years have gone back-to-back. And you think you're one of them, right? In the last 20 years, there's been only 3 teams get back to the game. And you believe you're one of them this year, right? Packers did not go back-to-back. Packers did. That was earlier, though. That's right. They won against New England, and they got beat by Denver. That's right. But that was back in Favre's. That was back earlier with Favre, prior to the cap. There's been 3 teams in 20 years. Right? And to Yale's point here, a lot of this has to line up. Right now is the time for the Eagles to become legendary. It's hard to become legendary, my friend, when you've got turnover the way you do and the way Howie turned the team. Get this. I think you've got to ask yourself something, though, if you guys are really being candid. Would you rather win 2 Super Bowls in 5 years and push all your chips in and try to win back-to-back? Or would you rather just win 1 Super Bowl in the next 5 years? Push all your chips in, bring all those guys back you had last year, and try to go back-to-back. Or would you try to set your future up for the next 6 years? Kind of what Howie's done. I think what Howie's doing, they're looking at it this way. By the way, I'm not saying you're out of it. Well, but Abe, you didn't push all your chips in. Pushing all your chips in would have been bringing everybody back. Back-to-back? Well, that's not what he did. He set the future up. You guys are making it sound like they prepared the team this year to go back-to-back. They didn't. Or they would have signed everybody like they did in 18. That's not what they did. Oh, what you would want. Okay. Me, because you're in the cap era, if you could get 2 Super Bowls in 5 years versus financially doing this, let's try to run it back. Because if you don't win it and you run it back, you're going to be like the Bucks and the Rams were by digging yourself out of salary cap issues. What Howie has done is made it easier for you. Get this. The Philadelphia Eagle football teams in 26 and 27. Here's what I would tell the league. Here, Yale, tell me if you agree with this. Here's what I would tell the league. If you don't beat the Eagles this year, beating them in 26 and 27, man, that is going to be a tougher putt. You're going to be better next year, and I think you're going to be better the year after. I mean, I think you're going to be good this year, but I think you're going to be 10 times better next year and the year after. I think they're going to be, if you don't catch this Eagle team now, see, look at what's happened with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are starting to walk back a bit because why? They've been pushing their chips in. What's happened? They've had to get rid of really good football players. They had to get rid of Tooney. They had to get rid of Honey Badger. They had to get rid of Snead. The Eagles are starting to feel a little bit of that now. Got to get rid of some of these really good players. They didn't want to get rid of. Hey, do you not agree? Jason, ask yourself this. Who was the one player that the Kansas City Chiefs missed in that Super Bowl? Who's the one player they missed, in your opinion, in that Super Bowl? Who's the one player? I'm not saying he would have made the end-all difference. I'm not suggesting that. Snead. They had to cut him to create cap space. Shit, the quarterback's restructuring his contract every year now, it seems. He's the 13th highest paid player in the league. At quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. See what I'm saying, Abe? They needed a guy in the secondary. You had McMillan on the other side. McMullen on the what's his name? The kid from Washington. Had him on the other side. McDuffie. You had McDuffie on the other side. You had Snead there. If you would have had those two corners playing against the Eagles, I'm not saying they would have won because of. I'm just saying you made the game a little interesting. Right? Those two corners in that game might have made it a little bit easier for them to compete. The Eagle O-line took control of that football game and never looked back. That game was never close. Dude, the only thing that made that game close was the coin toss. Right? It was the coin toss. That's right. I mean, where's he now? Tennessee? What's he doing there? Nothing. He's dying on a vine. Is Snead in Tennessee? He signed that big contract in Tennessee, right? Tennessee will cut him by next year. Right? He's in Tennessee. They're going to cut him. They're going to do the same thing in New England to Milton Williams. In 18 months, Milton Williams will be released. Not because he's not good, but because why have him on the team making that kind of money? Now, New England's got a chance in that division to finish second and have a good record. The only team in that division they have to really give a shit about is obviously the Bills. But I could see New England winning and having a winning record in the AFC East. Who, the Jets? They could sweep the Jets. They could beat the Dolphins. And whether the Bills beat them or not, they're still going to have, I think, around a 500 record in the AFC East because it's a shitty division. Brady and Hurts have figured it out. They made sure their contracts, they made sure that they're in their contracts, the rest of the team gets paid. I don't really think it's that so much as this. They're willing to do this. Where and I hear what you're saying, Shady. I said this years ago. Tom Brady did the smartest thing, and it was one of my takes about 10, 15 years ago with Brady. Brady was never the highest paid player in the NFL at his respected position. He took the extra money and reinvested it in his team, knowing full well that if they reinvested it in the team and they paid for other players that could make the team better, there was no way. Russell Wilson was doing it too when he was in Seattle. I mean, when you're around, like, here's where Dallas has missed it. As we brought it up, you had Tony Romo. Let's figure this out here. Watch this. So Tony Romo, watch this, guys. I'm going to show you this. So Tony Romo, how many years did he play in Dallas? Okay. How many years did he play? Let's see here. Tony Romo played 13 years. Check this out. Dak's entering his 20th year. You had an undrafted free agent. You had a 4th or 5th rounder in Dak. You spent no equity in your drafts. In the last 23 years in Dallas, you never took advantage of having a later round draft pick at quarterback. Now follow me here. In New England, you had 20 years. The first 6 or 5, you had Brady on a 6th round contract. In Seattle, you had a quarterback, Tavares Jackson, was making more money than Russell Wilson when Wilson was in the Super Bowl. Do you know that? The backup quarterback made more money when Russell Wilson took the Seattle Seahawks to the Super Bowl and won it. He was the 2nd highest paid quarterback on the Seahawks. They completely took advantage of that. Legion of Boom was built. They spent equity on that side of the ball with free agents. They drafted well. Seattle did it right. They had 2 NFC championships with a quarterback who was taken in the 3rd round. And to Tony's point, San Francisco's in the crossways right now of this. They've gotten to an NFC title and won it. They lost in the Super Bowl. Now they've given Tony Romo a gigantic deal. That deal is working out great right now. You can say whatever you fucking want about Brock Purdy. He is a damn good quarterback, and you won and took advantage of his contract. Now the question will be, will they be able to do it moving forward now that he's making $50 million plus? Do you understand about here? Look at the Eagles. Guy's a 2nd round pick. Jalen Hurts was making $1.5 million. Last year was the first year Jalen Hurts started making gigantic money. What did they do with that? They got AJ. They signed all these other guys, restructured the offensive line. They're positioning themselves now on defense. That's right. I forgot about Matt Flynn. There you go. You're right. The kid from Green Bay who they gave that big giant deal to. It's right. It was Matt Flynn. That's right. It was Matt Flynn, the backup quarterback to Brett Favre. Right. It wasn't Rodgers. It was Favre. It was Matt Flynn. He was a bust. They gave him like $17 million to go up to Seattle. And it was gigantic money. And the guy turned out to be a turd. If you're not taking advantage of these, and the Cowboys didn't. 23 years of an undrafted player and a 4th round player in Dak, and you didn't win shit with it. That's a Jerry Jones colossal disaster. You never took advantage of free agent contracts, later round picks, and you did not do anything to win. There lies the Cowboys' problem. The Cowboys' problem was they never built the team correctly. I mean, think about the Cowboys early with Jimmy. Let me go. When Jimmy got to the Cowboys, what had already happened? Landry had already decided to get Aikman. So they bring Aikman in the building, and Jimmy goes along with it, and they draft him. 1st round pick, 1st overall, all that. Right? Don't forget, Michael Irvin was taken a year before, and they stunk. They won like 4 or 5 ball games. I was there. Okay? Let's not forget something. They never spent a lot of money on that O-line. Tune, Nate, Crawford Kerr, Tom Rafferty. Those guys were all there. And they were making shit. They weren't making any money. They weren't paying any money in the O-line. Not what the Eagles are paying. They weren't high-dollar guys. Nate wasn't one of the highest-paid guys. They were all picked by Landry. Allen wasn't there yet. Allen wasn't on the first Super Bowl. I don't believe he was not a starter on the first Super Bowl. I think he was a starter on the second one. Second and third. Maybe the third. I know he wasn't on the first one. Then they got Eric Williams. That's when they started putting more pieces in there, getting rid of Gogan, putting him on the other side of Tune. And then when Emmett came, it changed it. Okay? When Emmett got there, it changed the entire dynamic because what? They're paying the quarterback, they're paying the running back, they're paying the receiver. Then they started paying on defense. That's right, Stepnoski. Well, I'm talking Chris when he first got there. Rafferty was the starting center in 89, and they drafted Stepnoski in the third round out of Pitt. And he became part of the offensive line the first time when they won the Super Bowl. And then Mark, I believe, went to Houston, either in free agent. I think it was in free agent. He signed with the Oilers. They took advantage of the contracts. Okay? Correct. The Herschel Walker did more for the Cowboys than Jerry Jones ever did. It's a great take. You're right on. And remember something, too, Spy. What's the most significant thing that Jimmy did with the Herschel Walker trade? Do you know what it was? And rules were changed because of it. Do you know the most important thing that they did? Do you know what it was? I disagree, Sills. 2016, Dallas had a rookie. Dak, Zeke, great O-line, great defense, and a number one seed. Dallas was not winners. The quarterback, Dak, was a fourth rounder. And the problem that you had there, Tony, was shitty coaching. Jason Garrett, you never lined up all the stars. The talent, I'll give you 16. Okay. I'll give you 16. Zeke was good. The O-line was really good. The defense was good. Okay. What didn't you have, though? You didn't really have a good – Jason Garrett, he's not going to deliver you a Super Bowl. Here's the one thing that the Herschel Walker deal did. When Jimmy Johnson – how many – get this. Let me show you the context of this. Jimmy's been on and explained this here on the show. Herschel Walker deal. How many picks? Get this. So when they made the draft picks, okay, in the trade, here's the initial ticket. I'm looking at it. The Dallas Cowboys sent Herschel Walker to the Minnesota Vikings. They got Isaac Holt. They got Davey Howard, Darren Nelson, Jesse Solomon, Alex Stewart, and also they got additional draft picks. On top of that, they got first-round draft picks. Every single one of those players that I just mentioned never played it down in Dallas. He flipped them into picks, 3s, 4s, 5s, 2s. That's how he created the value chart. Jimmy did more with the Herschel Walker players and the draft picks. And they changed the rules. Jimmy never wanted the players. Jimmy wanted the picks. And that's how that worked. He didn't want those guys. Not one of those guys ever really played. Get this. So here, let me read this to you. Depending on the perspective, Herschel Walker trade from the Cowboys Vikings in 89 was either the best or worst in the NFL history. For Dallas, they shipped a Hall of Fame talent and a Pro Bowler. And Herschel Walker for 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and then they got all of those picks that basically added up to 18 draft choices. 18 draft choices they got in the Herschel Walker deal. They traded for the players. They got the picks. It eventually evolved because Jimmy started trading picks, and he did, I think it was 57 draft picks that he traded based off that Herschel Walker deal that he got from Minnesota. And it turned into like 18 picks that went back to the Herschel Walker deal. 18. And then he created the value chart. He built the Cowboys off of Herschel Walker. That's why when I tell you guys, and I say this to you all the time, if a player can make my team better like Micah Parsons, see, think about this. Think about this in essence here. I want you guys to follow along. And sometimes when you hear me make a comment, trade him. You guys are like, I'm not trading Micah Parsons. Why? If one player can make a team better, I'm trading that guy's ass in 5 seconds. Look at what Carson Wentz did for the Eagles. When you traded him with those, you got, what was it? You got an elevated pick, which meant that depending, that was a 2, then it turned into a 1. Because he played well there. It became a first-round pick. Shit, Jalen Carter was out of that deal. You basically built much of your football or a lot of your great players off that team on some of the Wentz deal. I mean, well, get this. That doesn't happen anymore. You can't do that. So, like, when they got all those draft picks, there wasn't a rule in the books that said this. So when Jimmy, they had a value. The players had a value then. Like when it get like Darren Nelson. Darren Nelson had either a second-round valuation or a third. Jimmy got another third out of that. Jimmy ended up getting a third for him. He goes, I don't want him. I want the pick. I don't want somebody else's trash. I want the pick. I want to be able to evaluate and use those 18. He used 18 picks that had a genesis back to Herschel Walker. You know, in essence, you could say this to you if you're an Eagle fan. Carson Wentz helped you win an NFC title. And in the end, Carson Wentz got you Jalen Carter. So when you say Howie didn't really do a great job at evaluating Carson Wentz, you know what he did do? He did a really good job at turning that draft pick into Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's Carson Wentz. You don't see it that way. I do. Well, you guys look at Jalen. I mean, you look at Carson Wentz and go, the guy was, as a player, I get the whole thing. But to me, when they flip the pick like that, holy shit. Like, if you're Tennessee right now, Tennessee got the 18th pick for A.J. Brown, right? They got Treylon Burks. Wow. The Eagles got A.J. Brown sending the 18th pick. A.J. Brown, if you were to trade for A.J. Brown right now, what would be the draft pick that you would have to trade for A.J. Brown right now? What do you think? Well, how high would that pick be? You basically got rid of Jalen Reagor. You got rid of Jalen Reagor. He fucked up on Jalen Reagor, right? Well, he didn't fuck up on A.J. Brown. And for the 18th pick, you got A.J. Brown. Okay. I'm good. That's how I'd look at it. Again, that's a micro look. I'm looking at the macro and what he brought to your team. He helped you win an NFC title. And him being traded to Indianapolis, you got Jalen Carter back. You look at him as a player and you think he sucks and he's all this and that. I don't look at guys like that. I just, everyone has a value. It was totally worth having Carson Wentz on your team. You got rid of him for Carter, and he helped you win the NFC title. I don't know how that's a bad thing. It's not. He won for you initially, and out the door you got Jalen Carter. Are you pissed off, really? He was an Eagle? How? Wentz was a huge asset in your success of today. Like the conversation about Chip Kelly, it always kind of blows my mind. You hated Chip Kelly because of the way Chip Kelly didn't understand the game of the NFL. He still brought you Jeff Stoutland, and I've said this since I got here. He brought you Lane Johnson and Jeff Stoutland. His impact is still felt today. You're not winning Super Bowls without Chip Kelly. If Chip Kelly never showed up, do you think you're in the position you are today without Jeff Stoutland in Lane? Do you? No Lane and no Stoutland. He brought Stoutland from the University of Miami. Or wait, Alabama. Because Stoutland was at the University of Miami. You're not winning a Super Bowl if Stoutland's not in the building. You're not. Two dudes he impacted, the coach and Lane. I mean, guy has horrible bedside manner. The guy sucks. I get it. I'm not telling you he's a great coach. I'm telling you he was an asset. Chip sucks. He was horrible. Yeah, not really. Remember, every coach brings a particular value. Look at what Andy Reid brought to your team. He brought the blueprint of how you do business today. He may not have won it. He was an enormous asset coming out of the Norman Brayman days. Okay? I mean, huge. Again, see this guy? He completely misses my point, what I'm saying right now. Completely misses my point. I don't give a fuck about any of that. If you don't have him going 11-2, Steven, the year he got hurt, he went 11-2. I don't give a fuck who he beat. You don't get home field advantage. You don't. You can make all the bullshit excuses you want. And by the way, I'm talking about him being a pure asset. Chip wanted Deion Jordan, so Lane was the default pick for whatever. He's still on his resume. You could say whatever you wanted. They picked him with him. Okay? Hey, get this. Well, the Dallas Cowboys can make the same comment. They wanted Patrick Surtain. Well, they landed on Micah Parsons. And then you traded the pick so they could get Micah Parsons. And you took Devontae. Right? That's how you landed on Devontae. This is irrelevant. Doesn't even have anything to do with our conversation. Nothing to do with our conversation. Missed the whole thing, once again, on how we're talking about how I see assets on how people build a team. See this here? This has nothing to do with the conversation. So, again, 99% of you guys, you totally get it. You understand what I'm saying. It's okay. Guys like that will be pom-pom waivers for the rest of their lives. And everything that they do, they'll whatever. Right? Yes. So Carson Wentz right now in his career, guess what he has? He's got a Super Bowl ring and he's got an AFC Championship ring. And he had nothing to do with either. Well, a little bit more to do with that Super Bowl ring. But at the end of the day, that's a pretty good collection of jewelry for a guy who hasn't been on the field in like 3 years. This guy's got it. Wait, he's got it, right? He's got it. He's got two conference championship rings, a Super Bowl ring, 3 conference championship rings, 3 conference title rings. My God. Not bad for a dude, right? It's pretty crazy. Oh, my God. Wait, it's 2. NFC title, AFC championship ring, and a Super Bowl ring. That's what's on Carson Wentz's resume right now. All right, guys. Great stuff. Tomorrow we got football. Hall of Fame game. Lions and Chargers. I don't care if the game sucks or not. Any game that sucks, it's still football. I'm all in. I can't wait. Absolutely awesome stuff. Please hit the like button. 2 to 6 tomorrow. Joe, Xander, thank you. And we will see you on the flip side.